Good evening, everybody, from Olympian Field at Leuzinger High School. Along with Renard Ricks, I'm Lou Stowers, and it's the game of the week on Channel 22 Sports as Leuzinger's Olympians 2-1 are hosting the Westchester Comets at 3-1, and this is going to be an exciting game, Renard.
I'm expecting this to be an exciting game. Both teams coming in with a lot of momentum after having some big wins earlier, and here's the kickoff.
Omar Busio with the kick, and receiving the ball is Darren Walton. Brings it up to about the 36-yard line, where it's going to be 1st and 10 there for the Comets, who feature a pro-style offense, and leading the charge is Chris Gafford, their quarterback.
You know, I had a chance to talk with Coach Patterson from the Comets, and interestingly enough, he had hoped his team would get the ball on defense first. He wanted to start out with his defense, try to get something established, but he's going to have to get that offense going. Let's see if they can get something going here early.
Both teams coming off of wins last week out of the shotgun, and Gafford hands it off and going over left tackle for about a 5-yard gain. And a good one there. It ends up at about the 43-yard line. It'll be second and about 5 yards to go as Dominique Starks, a senior 5'9" running back, gets 5 yards on the play.
Coach Patterson says this young man is going to get a lot of work tonight. He has a lot of expectations and high hopes on him, and he expects for him to have a big game.
Gafford has his running backs right next to him, bookending him. And it's going to be a quarterback draw and smoked out nicely by the defense as Terrell Guerrero with the tackle there and a loss of about a yard.
Terrell Guerrero got into the backfield, but I really believe it all started with the miscue in the backfield. Looked like the quarterback had a hard time deciding if he wanted to hand it off or whether he was going to fake it. Ended up having to keep it, and as you mentioned, Lou, lost a couple of yards on the play. And this is where the Westchester Comets don't want to find themselves in 3rd and long. Let's see what they come out with the playbook here.
4-3 defense being shown by the Olympians. 2 receivers split to the right side, and a timeout is called by the officials. And let's let you know who they are. Jay Belshaw is the referee. The line judge is Isaac Gooden, and the back judge C.W. Allen. Head linesman is Glenn Neuer, and Ed Hines is the umpire. As the handoff, nope, it's a fake handoff, and pass is complete inside of Leuzinger territory, and that is complete to Anthony Okray, and it'll be 1st and 10 for the Comets inside of Leuzinger territory.
You know, Lou, the 6-foot junior snuck out at the wide receiver position, just curled across the middle, and the quarterback, Gafford, found him there sitting all alone, and for a nice pickup, going to be enough for a 1st down, as you indicated, and I'll tell you, that's just what the doctor ordered for Westchester. They need to get a couple of early 1st downs and keep the ball moving, especially against this high-powered offense that the Olympians put out on the field for Coach Tolliver.
And that was a good fake. Just looking at the offensive line for the Westchester Comets, and they are a big bunch up there in front. And that should be a good matchup as the right tackle is a big person. That handoff to the fullback, number 33, and that's Kalen Scott Wright, and he burrows his way across the 45-yard line for a gain of about 2 yards. It'll be 2nd and 8.
And Lou, it's just as you were mentioning that, I looked down this schedule. It's one of the things I wanted to talk about on this roster. Westchester's got 3 or 4 300-pound kids. No doubt that's why Coach Patterson wanted to work that defense. He's got a huge interior defensive line. He wants to establish them early. They're going to have to try to do it on offense early as well.
Those are the big Comets up front. 9:40 left to go in the 1st quarter. No score just underway here at the game of the week. Bad handoff, but it's picked up by Gafford, and the wide receiver screen is smelled out, and another loss on the play of about a yard as that one was completed to Okray. And number 9 for the Olympians defense, Ike McCullough, and TD touchdown Tony Sawyer over there.
Excellent play by Ike McCullough. The 5'11", 180-pound senior was right on top of that pass. And I think, again, it all started with the bad snap. Looks like the quarterback had a hard time in the center getting that exchange together. That's 2 or 3 times they've had that ball on the carpet early.
Big tight end is on the left side, and back to pass is Gafford throwing downfield and overthrows his intended receiver down the middle. And it'll be 4th down and 9 yards to go for the Comets. Antonio Williams is 6'1", 245.
Big wide receiver. I'm a little surprised that Coach Patterson tried to go for the home run. Looks like he was trying to get it all on that play. We'll see now what the Olympians can do here on special teams.
And Jermaine Marshall will punt the ball, a line drive. Sawyer wants to pick it up and does at his own 5-yard line. Can't get away from the defender of the Comets, and a good open field tackle made by Joshua Prince.
Prince down there on the coverage would not let the receiver get away, and indeed an outstanding play. He almost was able to shake him, but that junior 5'8", 158-pounder grabbed him by the shirt tail and hung on for dear life. Was able to get his arms around his legs to drag him down, and the Olympians start out deep in their own territory here, Lou. Let's see about this high-powered offense that Coach Tolliver puts on the field.
Deshaun Burton leads them out. The senior, 6'4", 195, and he's 40 out of 59 for 519 yards out of the shotgun. Burton, just a 2-step drop and good blocking as Sawyer gets it up the middle to the 30, and he could go all the way to the 50, the 40. He's down to the 30. The 20 is cut from behind and drugged down after a huge gain of 75 yards, and no flags on the play. It's 1st and 10 deep inside of Comet territory.
Whoa, my goodness, the first play from snap, I should say, for the Olympians. And what an outstanding run. Excellent hitch across the middle. And I tell you, this quarterback Burton is really on. He can really zip that ball as he hit the receiver across the middle on a quick end, and he took it almost to the house.
And touchdown, Tony Sawyer started to run out of gas there. So 76-yard pass and catch, and now the running back, Trevon Davis, gets hit in the backfield, and they're going to give some of that back.
Davis on the quick hit, unable to find any running room on the right side of that line. And Coach Patterson's defense, some of those 300-pounders stood him up over there, and they were able to get him for the short loss.
That's going to probably be the difference in the game, is who can establish the running game, the way that these two will go at it. But you know that these Samoan Warriors up front for the Leuzinger Olympians are a tough bunch.
It'll be a true test for them tonight, Lou.
7:42 left. Sean Burton back to pass. Screen pass is set up, and it is complete to Kavenga. Kavenga still on his feet. Gets out of the tackle and into the end zone. Touchdown, Leuzinger.
Wow.
What an exciting run after the catch by Tao Kavenga.
And you know, I saw reminiscences of last year. This young man played outstanding in the fullback position. Looked like he's taken a little weight off this year, and that quick hit to him, as you mentioned, broke a tackle. Looked like he was going out of bounds at about the 5-yard line, unable to drag him down with the Comet, and he just walked into the end zone.
Omar Busio just made the team recently. Will try to tack on the extra point. It's high, it is true, and it is through. With 7:29 left to go in the first quarter, it is 7-0 Leuzinger over the Comets, and they strike quick, and that was a huge pass by Burton to Sawyer to set it up.
Well, I tell you, I am really impressed with this offense that Coach Tolliver puts on the field. The Olympians came out tonight, as you know, highly ranked here in the South Bay, expected to do very well. And no doubt, Coach Tolliver sees why his team is ranked high. And I tell you, they are a team to be reckoned with in Westchester. The Comets have their hands full here early in the first quarter.
7:29 left to go in the first quarter. So a 21-yard pass from Burton to Kavenga caps a 4-play drive.
Well, Coach Patterson said this defense was looking for their identity. They are really searching for it after that quick hit by the offense of Leuzinger.
So 4 plays, and that covered 94 yards.
That's the way to do it.
So Omar Busio is going to kick the ball off to the Comets on the near side. Robert Douglas, and the ball is picked up by the far man, and nice special teams by the Leuzinger Olympians. Up to the 34-yard line is Cassius Pierce, one of the starting wide receivers, and it'll be 1st and 10 for the Comets. See if they can answer.
Well, I tell you, the Comets now have to be wondering what has hit them as they come out here on their 2nd series of downs. And it'll be interesting to see what Coach Patterson has in mind now. He has got to establish a running game. And as you mentioned, he's got the big horses up front. It's just a matter of whether they can establish something here to keep that high-powered offense from the Olympians off of the field. Again, the snap is low, fumble.
And going for the ball, I believe the Comets did pick it up. One of those big 300-pounders pounced on the ball. And number 75 for the Comets, Demetrius Beaver, was Johnny on the spot for the Comets. And that's going to be a 3-yard loss.
Well, the Comets seem to be still reeling after that quick 4-play drive by the Olympians. Can't seem to get anything going here. They've had poor snaps. The ball can't get back to the quarterback. They seem to be a team kind of rattled right now. Let's see if they can get something established here. 2nd down and long.
Gafford out of the shotgun, 2 receivers to his left. Back to pass, sets up the screen, and it's batted away. John Leota, the 6-foot senior, knocked it away, but we have a flag on the play, and we'll see what that is.
Outstanding play by John Leota as he was the defensive back rushing the quarterback, able to get his hands up to knock that ball down. And let's see if the Olympians or the Comets, no, they're going to pick it up.
No flag.
So no flag. Outstanding defensive play. I think what they were going to try to call may have been interference, but because the defensive back was able to get his hand on that ball, no penalty, no foul.
Gafford, the 5'9" senior, has Dante Paul split wide to the near side. 2 receivers split to the far side. So Gafford trying to pass, rolls out, looks for the most receivers. He's
got a man.
Has a man wide open and overthrows Anthony O'Cray, his favorite receiver.
Oh my goodness, that's one I'm afraid they're going to want to have back, and I'm sure, I tell you, Chris Gafford has got to be feeling mighty bad right now. Just a little too much air under that ball. I'm surprised he didn't get it up a little bit more.
So it's 4th down. And so they're going to have to punt again. So I'll tell you what, back in formation was Christopher Bonds and also John Leota. They have to be breathing a bit of a sigh of relief as well. Short kick, and
oh, that ball might have hit somebody. Nope.
Westchester picks it up, but it's going to be down by the Comets at the Leuzinger 46-yard line. So it'll be good field position, terrific field position for the Olympians, and our first chance to see them this year.
Indeed, an outstanding opportunity. Almost went awry there. It looked like the Comets almost had somebody to, I should say the Olympians nearly touched that ball. That could have been detrimental, but it really gave the Comets a chance to keep the ball here. But let's see, the Olympians now coming back on the field. Coach Tolliver, what's he got in store for us here in this 2nd play drive? Another quick one, Lou?
Hey, why not? It worked the first time. Lee Williams is out there for one of the big guys. Jonathan Kavenga as well. Number 57, Sammy Williams, is the center. I think this is the 3rd year he's been there as the starter. Burton out of the shotgun, hands the ball off right away, and burrowing his way across midfield. I believe that was
looks like number 9, Ike McCullough.
Ike McCullough, okay. So he's a wide receiver carrying the ball.
Coach Tolliver trying to mix up his running backs, keeping them fresh here early in the game. It was an extremely warm day. I was beginning to wonder if this game might be some problems tonight, but it started to cool off as it always does down here in the South Bay, and got beautiful weather. I'd say it's probably about 75 degrees now.
That's right. It's a crime to wear a tie up here in the booth.
Should be at the beach.
At shotgun, and Burton throws it and just missing the ball. Just a little bit behind him is Denzel Idris, one of his favorite receivers. The 6'1" senior has 167 yards in receiving at 11 catches, and also 50 yards in rushing.
Looked like Tolliver just underthrew him, and I'm assuming he just kind of underestimated where he was going to be, and the runner just kept running, and the ball fell right at his heels, unable to pick it up for a big first down. It's going to bring up 3rd down and about 8. This should be a big play for the Olympians.
Trayvon Davis in for, actually Trayvon Davis out, Junior Nash is in, so trips to the left side on a big 3rd down play for Burton. Throws across, it is caught at the 40-yard line, and a terrific catch by Jared Simmons, the 5'11" senior. And good hands, gets inside for a first down at about the 36, 37-yard line of the Comets.
Outstanding catch. The defender really playing too far off of him, allowed him to pick up that first down, curled back to the outside, and was able to pick up the first down that keeps this drive alive. And I tell you, this Olympian team is clicking on all cylinders right now. It looks like Coach Tolliver's got a little concern. He wants to go out and talk to his team here for some reason.
Well, we'll see what's going on as Coach Tolliver right now is acting like a cheerleader down there right now, taking care of the offense. And in talking to him before the ball game, asked him how did the summer go, because that's the biggest thing here. To get these kids motivated enough to come to the weight room and keep the cobwebs and the rust off of the weights. And he said everybody's on the same page this year. They're looking forward to coming back and playing Leuzinger football.
And you look down this roster, Luke, it is senior heavy. And that's one of the things that I'm sure Coach Tolliver is depending on this team to show the maturity, certainly the experience that they have. And we talked about it. This team last year was right on the crest of really winning a championship. And I'm sure that's one of the things he has in mind this year. A heavy senior-laden team, lots of experience. They should do very well this year, as the record indicates.
1st and 10, 3 wide receivers. The pitch goes to Trayvon Davis, and Davis, speedy, turns the corner down to the 30-yard line. And a big gain on first down for the Olympians.
And that's what you like to see on first down. A big, almost 6, 7, 8, that's about a 6-yard pickup. And that opens up the playbook now for Coach Tolliver to really do something interesting here on 2nd down. Let's see what he comes out of his book with. Wouldn't be surprised if he was to spread it out again and try to hit a quick out. Looks like we got a timeout.
The official calls a timeout. Going to have to adjust the time as 22 seconds show on the clock.
And if I can have your attention down at the bottom on the home side, ladies and gentlemen.
So we'll see what's going on. You know what else about Leuzinger I missed? The barbecue. Can you smell that?
Indeed, I don't smell it tonight.
I can smell something burning.
Somebody's got something going on. Hopefully they'll bring us some at halftime.
You know, or ask for leftovers after the end of the game. You know?
Either one will work.
The Westchester coming into tonight's game 3-1, having defeated Pasadena 13-0, and then Silmar, a shootout. They won that one 36-25, and defeated Washington 32-12. Their only blemish is to Roosevelt at Corona 42-13. Those teams are tough out there.
Coach Patterson said he had a hard time that night. Team didn't come totally prepared. Had some changes, and he said he's made some adjustments. We'll see some of them tonight.
Tal Kavenga gets the handoff, and he gets to the 30-yard line, and real estate is tough to come by. And one of the big guys down there.
Kavenga, hard-running young man, has to be gang tackled. I don't think one man can bring him down. I haven't seen it in the past 2 years, and I'm sure he's still just as strong. Looks like, as I indicated, may have taken off a pound or two this year, but still just as hard of a runner. And I love the way this young man plays the game of football.
So it's 3rd down as Brian Palmer Brian Brewer made the tackle, the initial hit, 245-pounder, starting the tackle there. 4:18 left to go. Burton pumps to the left, throws to the right, in between between two defenders, and hit the defender in the back. And the defenders were Robert Douglas and Darren Armstrong.
And had Douglas or Armstrong turned around a little earlier, might have been able to pick that off, as you indicated. Got hit in the back with that pass. A little surprised that they didn't turn around as they saw the receiver turning to reach for the ball. Probably, as it indicates, juniors, a little young and inexperienced, but they'll pick that up in time, and I'm sure one of those things that Coach Patterson will be working on at practice next week.
So Trayvon Davis was the intended receiver, and they're going to go for it at the 31-yard line. They have 5 yards to go. Burton throws it, almost intercepted over on the flat by Antonio Williams.
Another 240-pound defensive end who was in there on Burton and got his big paw up, knocked that ball down because the receiver had broken to the inside. And that was that same play that they got the big hit on early in that first drive. Went to the well one time a little too often, and looks like it no doubt will give the ball to the Comets. 1st and 10.
So Burton at least didn't get it intercepted and is lucky to have it 3 out of 6.
Indeed.
And no interceptions.
Had the defender been able to bat that ball up in the air and grab it, we might be watching him still run.
Gafford hands the ball off, goes right over the center, but doesn't go anywhere. Is hanging on and finally dragging him back.
Everybody was in
Isaac
there.
McCullough.
Sophomore, 5'8", 265-pounder for Coach Tolliver, broke through the offensive line, got his hands on the running back, able to throw him for a nice loss.
So they call it a no gainer. So it'll be 2nd and 10 from the 31-yard line as Cameron Williams, the 5'10 junior, just couldn't go anywhere.
I think that was a kind spot by the officials that time.
3:30 left to go in the first quarter. No score, actually 7-0. And the handoff is
Nice
taken.
block.
Good block in the backfield and a good open field tackle by Leuzinger.
That was Kavinga. Young man stuck his nose in there, able to shut the running back down before he could really get to the line of scrimmage. I tell you, this 5'11", 210-pounder loves to hit, as we saw last year. And again, right there, a prime example of how he has a nose for the ball.
Williams gains 6 yards on the play. It'll be 3rd down and 4 yards to go. 2 wide receivers split wide to the left. Handoff is to Williams again, caught behind the backfield or behind the line of scrimmage, and another good tackle underneath by Terrell Guerrero, and he's made 2 big plays already.
Coach Tolliver was sending the house on that play as everybody seemed to be blitzing except for the wideout, or I should say the deep backs. And the running back really had no chance once he got his hands on the ball. And matter of fact, some of the defenders almost were there at the time of the handoff.
Jermaine Marshall will punt the ball. TD Tony Sawyer waiting to receive the ball and gets the ball at about the 28-yard line and is caught, spun around, and down at about the 35-yard line. So decent field position again for the Olympians, and let's see if they can get something going on their 3rd possession with 1:55 left in the first quarter.
Coverage much better that time as the Comets were able to get their hands on him and keep him for a small gain. But again, as you mentioned, this offense that Coach Tolliver has for the Olympians has really been clicking, and I'm really curious to see what he's got in store this time out. They have really unloaded the playbook and just look like a real offensive machine tonight.
2 wide receivers to the near side. Idris in the slot, and it looks like Simmons to the near side. Burton out of the shotgun, looks to the left, throws underneath, and a little bit too far outside for Denzel Idris.
Pass intended for Idris, as you mentioned. And, you know, again, one of the things that we were talking to Coach Patterson early in this game about was his defense, and he was greatly concerned that they really haven't found their identity. He was planning to try to mix up some of the defensive packages, but this Tolliver team, with all of its sets, the wide outs, spread offense, I don't know if they're going to really be able to establish themselves. The offense really keeping the ball away from this big interior defense, and that's what you want to do on a team that's got the horses that Westchester has up front, a couple of 300-pounders in their defense.
Got a 4-3 defense, and coming up, Darren Walton, the linebacker, as the running back for the Olympians gets up to about the 39-yard line after the handoff, and that was to Sean Burton, actually, on the quarterback draw.
Burton decided to keep it. I guess he thought he saw something, or maybe it was actually a draw that picked up little or very little gain, if you will, and certainly one of those plays that maybe Coach Tolliver was just trying to keep the defense honest over there at Westchester.
So a gain of about 3 yards. It'll be third down and about 7 yards to go. Simmons is split wide to the near side, and Roderick Polian. Burton again on the option play, keeps it, has one man to beat, gets close to the first down marker across the 45-yard line, and depending on where the spot is, it could be a first down after a nice run on the option play, and it is.
They do give him the first down. Lou, outstanding run by the quarterback Tolliver. Went to make the pitch, faked the pitch, kept it, went off left tackle, able to pick up the first down after he broke a tackle or two, had one or two Comets hanging on to him, but not until he picked up the first down to keep the drive alive, and it's 1st and 10.
With 48 seconds and running in the first quarter, Roderick Polian is a 6-foot senior out there, and two more wide receivers. Idris comes in motion back next to Burton. Handoff is to Idris, slips 2 tackles, and then runs into a Comet wall and is pushed back at the line of scrimmage.
Idris made some outstanding moves in the backfield, all to naught, and he was able to really get anything going. Ran into a host of Comets, led up there in the middle of that pack by number 34. That's Chase Glaspie, the middle linebacker for the Comets, 240-pounder, 6 foot.
Fast.
All of them big and fast.
That's it. They're big and just like a pro team or the D1 college team. Burton, last play of the quarter, throws it downfield, has a man open, caught inside of Comet territory, inside the 40-yard line for the Olympians, and that is TD Tony Sawyer.
Just a beautiful move by Sawyer as he breaks the play off after about 15 yards down the field, curls toward the middle, and there Burton finds him with a nice pass across the middle. Has to go up to bring it down in between 2 or 3 Comets, but not until he picked up the first down.
And that was a 13-yard gain for Burton. Finally completes a pass and 2 catches for Sawyer for 89 yards. And actually the first play of the game, that 76-yarder and this 13-yarder. It's 7-0 after 1 quarter, and we're going to keep it right here because they didn't play any anthem. They just wanted to get right to it and start smacking heads.
These teams came in. I think both teams eager to play tonight. Both teams, as you mentioned earlier, Luke, coming off of big wins last week, trying to keep the momentum going. And I think both teams expect to win. But if you look at the stats, or if you look at the ranking by the Max Preps, they expected Leuzinger to win this game. But I think Westchester wants to show very well.
I'm sure they do. Sawyer and Simmons split to the near side right in front of us. Burton at 1st and 10 at the 40-yard line. Nice block pickup by Davis, and the ball is just overthrown by Simmons as there was a foursome of Comets back in there to greet Burton.
Burton drops back, has plenty of time to find Simmons in the flat. I'm a little surprised. He kind of looked like he might have rushed that throw. Simmons really didn't have much pressure out there. Again, just the pass a little overthrown, And Simmons unable to bring it down. Got his hands on it. Coaches say if you touch it, you should bring it down.
Cache Palacio, one of the nose tackle, as it were, for the Comets, digging his way through there. 2nd down and 10. Burton throws it underneath, and it's intercepted by number 34. That's Chase Glaspie. And it will be terrific field position for the Comets in the first turnover of the ball game.
A huge turnover. A huge turnover. And I tell you, that might be just enough of a momentum shaker and changer to get the Comets going here. It's going to call for this Leuzinger defense now to step up and try to shut the Comets down. Because, you know, plays like this can really turn the old man momentum right into the game.
So Chaz Gillespie, a 6', 240-pound junior.
Another one of those linebackers for Coach Patterson, who he expects and told me earlier has to play well tonight, and he's starting off that way here.
Gafford has his running backs bookending him, and now we have probably an illegal motion call. As coming across in motion was one of the wide receivers, Cassius Pierce. Illegal procedure against the Comets. So that backs them up to the 40-yard line. So it'll be 1st down and 15. A little bit of movement going on there, as it looks like the Comets just weren't set enough. They just wanted to hurry up and get going after the gift from Leuzinger.
And that is not how you start a drive after a momentum change or after an interception like that. Your team been struggling. Now you've got a chance to get something going. And your first play out, you get a turn, can't get anything going.
Here comes the blitz by Simmons, but it's missed after the handoff. And nicely done. The big running back for the Comets is finally pushed out of bounds by Kavenga. And that was Dominique Starks getting the big 1st down deep inside of Leuzinger territory.
One of the players that Coach Patterson says has to have a big game tonight is the young man Dominique Starks. He says to keep our eye on him. This running back, who's only 5'9", but 225 pounds, loves to run the ball, loves to hit, and has no problem taking on the defensive back or anybody. He is a hard runner, and no doubt you saw it right there on that play as he went off right tackle, able to break 2 or 3 tackles, got to the outside, almost broke it, Lou.
He sure did. O'Cray is split wide to the left for the Comets. Big 1st down for them, trying to cash in on the interception. Gafford throws down, has a man open, got it.
Oh,
and no, just dropped out of the hands. In and out of the hands. And that pass was intended.
Looks like number 11.
Was that O'Cray?
I believe that was O'Cray. No? Yes, it was O'Cray, I believe.
It's Robert Douglas, number 12. O'Cray is still in the huddle.
That's right, sure is. My bad.
That's okay.
Eyes are failing me, Lou.
That's why I have helpers. So it's 2nd down and 10. O'Cray is split to the near side, and in the slot is Cassius Pierce.
Can't get over that drop pass.
That's it. And the ball is thrown underneath too far as Gafford is buried underneath by the Leuzinger Olympians. There was a blitz on the play by John Leota, but getting in there was Stephen Amos, one of the interior linemen.
Amos all over Gafford, unable to have time to get that pass out there to his wide receiver. The intended receiver had a step on the defensive back, but as you mentioned, Gafford just under too much pressure as Stephen Amos all over him, the outside linebacker senior. 235-pounder just in there like a rocket. Looked like he was a comet.
That's right. He's one of the linebacker defensive ends. Also down there is our old buddy, number 71, Isaac McCullough. Another bad snap, and it's a fumble, and Leuzinger picks it up.
And they have it.
So you talk about your team speed, and that was Lorenzo Lepe. But I tell you what, there was another blitz by Leuzinger to pick up, to help out with that bad snap.
Well, they've been itching for that turnover, I tell you, for the entire game. I've lost track of how many balls they've had, just poor snaps between, and they've been in the shotgun all night. You would think it's something they've practiced, but clearly the center and the quarterback, Gafford, are having an extremely difficult time in getting the exchange. And now both teams here with turnovers in the second period. And let's see if the Olympians can capitalize. Certainly the Comets couldn't.
3 receivers in the pattern, but Trevon Davis runs right through the hole and almost to midfield. Trevon Davis with a man on top of him, and that was big old number 81. That was Brian Brewer he was carrying down the clubhouse turn.
I tell you, Davis just dragging defenders down the field. Poor tackling by the Comets. I'm really surprised. They're trying to hang on at the shoulder pads instead of getting around the running back's legs. It's the wheels that are rolling. That's what you've got to stop.
Tony Sawyer split wide to the near side. In the slot is Simmons. Burton out of the shotgun. He'll hand the ball off to Kavenga. Kavenga gets across the 50-yard line.
I believe that was Polian, if
That's
my
right.
eyes are serving me correctly.
Your
here.
eyes are.
Trying to get back here. The senior, on one of his few carries, nice pickup as he went off left tackle there. Picked up a nice gain of about 5 yards, keeping the drive alive here. That's one of the things that's going to certainly open up the playbook for Coach Tolliver. Nice second and a little short.
That's also, you can keep fresh horses in, because now here comes Polian out and in comes Davis.
That's the way you do it. And that makes the running backs a little more hungrier, I think, because they know they're not going to get but a few opportunities. I have to make them count.
John Leota comes in as the tight end or the H-back. 2 receivers on either side of Burton. Has a running back, Davis, next to him. Everybody in the pattern, and it's overthrown Sawyer at about the 25-yard line. And Burton's lucky that wasn't picked off again.
Dante Paul almost got his hands on that ball, the defensive back for the Comets. Had he been just another step quicker, might have been able to get his hands on it to get another turnover for the Comets, something they're certainly wanting to do here. But I'm sure Coach Tolliver is talking to his quarterback. He's got to settle him down. That's 2 passes. He's had the receivers wide open, just maybe a little too hyped for the game here, still early.
Sawyer and Simmons split wide to the near side. Idris, one of the receivers, to the far side. Burton will hand the ball off to Polian. That's Kavenga. Kavenga gets across the 40, the 45, really smacks the defensive back Paul hard to get a couple of extra yards, and it pays off at the 34-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Leuzinger Olympians.
And you saw right there what we were talking about earlier. Kavenga not looking to avoid the tackler, wanted to run over him, just put his shoulder right into number 3 and said, let's take it on. Nice stop and run, I should say run by Kavenga, as Dante Paul stops him, but not until after he picks up the first down.
And 10 yards to boots is Simmons and Sawyer. Now timeout called by Westchester with 9:32 left to go in the first quarter of play. And this game is everything so far as advertised.
Well, I tell you, the Olympians, if they can put up another score here before halftime, he's going to really have Coach Patterson and the Comets thinking about the second half. They really have not shown anything on defense as far as being able to stop the Olympians. The Olympians have been pretty much shooting themselves in the foot.
That's true, especially with an interception and the 4th down conversion that was missed. 2 opportunities there, but they really have neutralized the bigger, much bigger line. And right now, they've just sent another big one out there, but now he goes back. That's a number 68 out there, is 65. Another 300-pounder, 290-pounder.
Was that before or after he ate today?
Ate what? You better check the bus tires, see if they're all there.
I'm telling you. I wonder
we
how
kid because we love.
I wonder how some of these schools can feed these kids sometimes. I tell you, they are huge and still at the high school level.
That's right. It says Tony Sawyer split out with Simmons in the slot to the near side. Idris to the far side. Tight end is John Leota here on the left as Simmons goes in motion. Davis will get the handoff from Burton. And a nice tackle on the shoe by the Comets.
Antonio Williams in on the tackle, the senior 6'1", 245-pounder, able to stop the ball carrier for a little gain. And, you know, really, the pressure is really on this Westchester defense now. They've got to stand up. Coach Patterson says they're looking for the identity. Here's an excellent spot for them to show it in the red zone almost. Got to keep this Leuzinger team from scoring here, or this may be a runaway.
8:50 left to go. Simmons goes in motion again. Sawyer and Idris right and left. Pass goes to Simmons, and he should have had it.
That's the second pass Simmons that had to go off of his hands. Should have caught it, as you mentioned, Lou. They had the play set up, had a wide receiver out there ready to block for him. Would have been able to pick up the first down and perhaps even more, but unable to reel that ball in. And I'm sure that's one of the things he'd love to have back. And I'm sure Coach Tolliver gives him a chance. He'll make up for it on the next one.
And yeah, Simmons has a big catch for 12 yards already tonight as Sawyer splits to the right side. Simmons will be in the slot again with Idris way out there to the left.
Big third down, Lou.
Trey Davis. And now Burton gets the first down and then some inside the 20-yard line. And it'll be a big first down. No flags, no. So Burton again followed the block of Trey Davis for the first down.
Looked like he was wanting to hand it off, and I'm a little confused as to whether it was a planned draw or a little mix-up in the backfield, but nonetheless, it worked. Gillespie to stop him after a big first down pickup to keep the drive alive for the Olympians, and now the pressure really starts to mount on this defense from Westchester.
And that was a big 14-yard gain by Trevon Burton. Ike McCullough comes in a four-wide receiver set. Idris and Sawyer to the near side. Davis in the backfield with Burton. Burton looking over there again in and out of the hands of Simmons.
Simmons really having a hard time of catching the ball tonight. Don't know if he needs some stickum, or they don't allow stickum in high school, do they?
Well, not anywhere, I don't think they do.
Not anymore. And you know, that brings to mind one of the
judge,
one of the coaches for the Westchester Comets. Nephew happens to be one of the men who made that stickum quite famous, Jack Tatum.
Yeah, Jack Tatum, you know, he's one of the assistant coaches now for Ohio State.
Indeed he is.
Jim Tressel doing a good thing.
Has a nephew that's a defensive coach for the Comets over there. So that Tatum line runs long and deep still in football.
Burton again slips on the infield, actually at the midfield there, I should say, right in the center of the field, slips down and falls, and just does get back to the line of scrimmage, maybe lost a yard on that one. So another big third down play for the Olympians on the quarterback draw once again.
Couldn't get his footing under him seemingly there. Found that foot in one of those soft spots out there in that field, and you can tell it's kind of beat up in some areas, even though this is the first home game. A little surprised at the condition, but they had a JV game earlier. No doubt that had something to do with the wear and tear on the field tonight.
17:30 left to go in the first half. Three wide receivers to the right, two to the left, two to the right. Burton is the lone man in the backfield, tries to go again, but he slipped again, and that gets the ball to about the 17-yard line, or about to the 19-yard line. So again, no gain. So let's see if the field goal unit comes out. Yeah, here comes Omar Busio.
And the clock is running, and one of the things Coach Tolliver said he was wanting to find out tonight was about his kicker. Young man's only been on the team for about 3 weeks, and no doubt didn't get a lot of practice, but Coach Tolliver's got a lot of faith in him and looking forward to this big kick.
36-yard field goal attempt is high, and it is, looks like it's going to be wide to the left.
Just a little bit wide to the left. I thought he had almost got it through there, but shanked it off to the left just a little bit. No doubt one of those things he'll have to practice on next week.
Yep, like you say, he's just an infant in football, and unfortunately he bent it like Beckham there.
Well, let's see if that's going to come back to haunt the Olympians. Indeed, that was a big stop for Westchester as the Comets really needed to keep the Olympians out of the end zone on that series of downs. Were able to do so. Let's see if the Comets now can get anything going on offense with 6:39 remaining here in the first half.
And this is the first time that Westchester has touched the ball with 6:39 left. And jumping offside, a couple of Leuzinger Olympians, Sammy Williams along with Lorenzo Lepe.
I think that's the first penalty on the Olympians tonight thus far. So
it is.
Teams are relatively penalty free. The Comets have a couple of penalties, both with a turnover each here in the first half. And for the most part, the game has been played very well.
And very fast, too.
And we haven't mentioned the officials but one time, and that was to tell their names. That's a good thing.
Gafford has 3 wide receivers, 2 of them to his left, the near side. But he's going to hand the ball off. Nice hole over right guard. And Dominique Starks getting close to the first down marker, maybe about a yard short.
And
So 4-yard gain.
I hate to bring it up, but I think part of the success on that play had to do with the handoff and the snap from center back to the quarterback. It was very clean. Let's see if they can keep that up because they've had a hard time on that snap, getting that exchange back from the center to the quarterback.
O'Cray split wide to the near side, along with Cassius Pierce. Showing blitzes the Olympians with Terrell Guerrero throw and look, and it is caught by number 3, Dante Paul, but a flag on the play. And we'll see if that's some sort of pass interference or not.
I believe you're on top of that, Lou. It looked like it may have been pass interference, so no doubt they'll pick this flag up probably and just mark the ball there at about the 49-yard line.
Looked like a bit of a face guard by the Leuzinger defender on Paul, but Paul came back to get the ball.
They're called holding. And it will be declined.
So up to the 49-yard line, a big first down for the Comets, and it's a 20-yard gain for Gafford.
Gafford coming back into the huddle there, as you see on your screen. No doubt Coach Patterson just gave him some instructions. They are starting to get something going here. This will be a big series for the Olympians on defense now. See if they can shut down this Comet offense as they've started to pick up 2 first downs in a row.
Leuzinger's offense has let the Comets off the hook, and they're really getting off the ball in a hurry after the snap. And a big hit on the play. And a penalty.
Looks like
and
number
that was
33, Kalen Scott Wright, taking the ball off a right tackle. Let's see what the penalty is now. Is our official holding against the Comets, so that run will go for naught. They'll back them up.
And a big hit. That's the one thing that Cameron Williams is going to remember.
You hate to make a great run like that and have it called back, especially when you take a big hit like that and it all goes for naught.
It's like those T-shirts. My parents went to San Francisco and all I got was this rotten T-shirt.
You know it.
So back to the 41-yard line.
I'm sure our friend went back into that huddle and told the guy who held up, said, look, don't do me any favors next time.
First down and about 18 yards to go, and the Comets have really, like I said before on that last play, have really been going quick on the snap and a little bit too quick on that one. Is that a false start?
Yep, and they're starting to shoot themselves here in the foot now, just as I started to say that both teams were relatively penalty-free. The Comets now with back-to-back penalties, and now with a total of 4 here in the first half, and only had 2 up until those last 2 plays. So Coach Patterson and the quarterback Gafford really need to settle down this offense if they plan to get something going here with 5:12 remaining.
2 receivers to the right side, stacked up in front of Gafford is the offensive line, throws it high and deep downfield and out of the reach of the wide receiver, the intended receiver, Robert Douglas. Covering on the play was Ike McCullough.
Well, that pass again was overthrown, and I'm a little confused as to who it was actually intended for. It looked like it was going to Douglas, but for some reason that ball was well overthrown, and I think a lot of that had to do with the pressure. As you mentioned, the Olympians blitzing didn't give Gafford enough time to really set his feet, and I'm sure that ball just kind of got away from him.
Well, it's 2nd and 25. You can bet they're going to do it again, a 4-man front. And now here comes one of the linebackers up, and Jonathan Leota. 3 linebackers up, 2 of them come in, picked up nicely by the line of the Comets, but the screen pass is made and completed, and some good yardage picked up by Dominique Starks, but it's still going to be about 3rd down and 15.
I love the way the young man Isaac McCullough made that tackle then. I don't know if you noticed it, Lou. He grabbed him initially by the back of the collar. You know, that horse collar play will get you the penalty. Brought his hands right down along the side onto his waist, able to drag the runner down and avoid the penalty. Outstanding technique. That's what you like to see, especially on this scale when they're this young and recognizing that almost here in the penalty situation, let me get back to the basics. Made the tackle for a big stop.
2 receivers to the right side of the quarterback, Chris Gafford. Gafford back to pass, is being chased down by Williams, has to throw it down, or check that, Stephen Amos, and just has to throw it to the ground. And lucky that wasn't intentional grounding, but O'Cray was in at least the zip code.
Well, I think he got outside the tackles, and that's why he was able to throw that ball into the ground to avoid the penalty, because certainly he was so close, but able to get out and saw he really didn't have anybody out there in the open, and I don't think he was going to be able to make it reach down here to the receiver, who was clearly broken away. So bringing up 4th down, and the Olympians now will get it back with a little under 4 minutes here remaining in the first half.
Jermaine Marshall will be in punt formation.
And we got another flag. It's on the sideline, I believe.
And that was one of the things that the officials said. You got to stay in the box, keep them beyond 2 yards of the sideline. And it looks like Isaac Gooden, the line judge, said that's going to cost you.
And
he
indeed,
picks it up.
Didn't mean to step on you there, Luke.
No, that's okay.
That was one of the things that the officials were talking to both of the coaches at the beginning as we were out there in that conversation. And it was one of the things he made very clear. Keep your team back off of the sideline, or we'll be more than happy to give them a penalty. And there they go. They just picked one up.
Jermaine Marshall almost loses that one on the bad snap. Line drive, and Tony Sawyer lets this one go. It'll be downed inside the 20-yard line by the Comets. And Ralph Gordon.
Very smart to get away from that. He looked like he really wanted to pick it up, and I thought he was going to touch it. That would have really created some problems. It might have been a costly turnover, but smartly got away from it. And now the Olympians will take over. We'll see if they can run the clock out here to keep the ball here in the first half. Go to the locker room with a 7-0 lead, or let's see if Coach Tolliver's going to come out and try to get some points. What do you think?
Now, 3:50 left to go. You might as well run your offense and see what they can do.
A couple of big plays here. I'm sure that's exactly what he tried to do here. See if he can get a first down.
So Leuzinger's defense holds as Burton quickly throws, and let's see if it's a snap clock violation.
Well, a lot of players running in from the Westchester sideline. I believe they called a quick timeout, looks like. And looks like the officials are going to honor that request. A near penalty there, though.
3:50 left to go in the first half. And at least, you know, when you have one of the school administrators sitting next to you here in the booth, you know you're not going to be messed with. We got our own bodyguard up here watching, running the official clock.
Oh, he's doing a great job, too.
You know, he had a big sandwich, too, and he didn't share it either.
I noticed that. We may have to talk to the school officials about that, because I thought that was in our contract to get some of that.
Any food brought up in the press box is shared with the broadcasting crew.
That's what I signed on for right there.
Okay, all right. 3:50 left to go, and Coach Patterson has told his defensive crew what he wants, and it looks like that he doesn't want any pass to get over his defenders as they're kind of laying back loose and playing center field back there is Ralph Gordon.
He's got a couple of guys playing deep on safety. They're starting to sneak back up here now.
Jermaine Marshall, too, is way back there.
Doesn't look like he should go to that prevent. Oh, got a little movement. Looks like they're Somebody wasn't on cue, didn't have the right snap count.
And not making the snap. I don't know if that's Sammy Williams or not, but that's going to go 5 yards backwards for the Olympians, and that's going to put them right back inside the 15-yard line.
Both teams really starting to get raggedy here in this second period. Coach Tolliver and the Leuzinger Olympians picking up 3 penalties here in the second period, 4 for the Comets from Westchester.
5 wide receivers. I checked that 4, 3 to the near side, and almost interception by O'Cray, as Idris didn't even turn around to see the ball.
Well, O'Cray not able to bring that in, and well, I guess can't catch his own quarterback passes, can't catch an interception, and at least he's being an equal opportunity person.
3:45 left to go in the first half. 7-0 Leuzinger. Glad you joined us on Channel 22 Sports.
Beautiful game, beautiful night, I should say. That's for right. A game here in the South Bay. Excellent weather.
And again, 3 wide receivers to the near side. Burton rolls out slightly to the right. Throw is caught by Sawyer. Good enough for a first down and then some, up to the 35-yard line. Stayed in bounds, went towards the center part of the field, but the clock stops with 3:42 left to go at the 35-yard line, and a big gain of about 20 yards.
Love the way the young captain came across the middle there to pick up that big first down and keep the drive alive. So hard to teach these young guys to cut their routes off and come into and then come back for the pass. Outstanding catch and throw by the Olympians. Seems like Burton's found his touch again.
Got tight ends on this play. 2 receivers to the far side. Pitch goes to Trey Davis. Davis back to the line of scrimmage, is caught from behind, and then is smothered under a sea of white and red jerseys.
Look like the middle linebacker again, number 34 in there for the Comets. That's Glaspie. We've been calling his number out a lot here. He was the one who had that big interception to give the Comets the ball, unable to do anything. And now let's see if the Comets can stop this big second down play.
Trips to the right for Burton. Rolls to the right. Throws to Sawyer. Caught at the 41-yard line and down in a nice open field tackle by the Comets.
And he's going to be close to another first down.
Dante Paul on the tackle, and that's going to be a first down.
All right. So the Olympians keep the drive alive. 2:41 here remaining. And they hurry out to the line of scrimmage, trying to keep the ball moving.
47-yard line, a 10-yard gain for Sawyer. Burton rolls out to the left, has his man, and it is caught by Polian. Polian steps out of bounds, or he would have been gone for a touchdown. And that's inside of Westchester territory with 2:27 left to go. Another first down at the 39-yard line.
Anthony O'Cray over there to push him out of bounds to keep him from getting down that sideline. As you mentioned, one man to beat, and he would have been able to pick up a score here.
About a 12-yard gain and another first down. Burton has completed 3 passes in a row now. Low snap, throws it over the middle. It is caught by Polian. Polian inside the 25-yard line and is pulled down by the jersey.
Wow.
And another nice tackle in the open field. And that was Joshua Prince making the tackle.
The Comets giving up too much real estate here, trying to keep the Olympians out of the end zone. The Olympians on a march here, looking excellent on this drive. As you mentioned, Lou, spreading them out wide. And I tell you, this young man Burton is in his zone now. What is that, 3 for 3 or 4 for 4?
4 for 4, and another 19-yard gain at the 20-yard line. Burton steps up in the pocket, throws for the end zone, has a man open. Caught!
Beautiful.
Touchdown! Leuzinger Olympians. Denzel Idris with his first catch of the game with 2:02 left in the game, and it's 13-0 Leuzinger.
Outstanding play by Sean Burton. Young man under a lot of pressure, took the snap, stepped up inside the line, set his feet, looked like he wanted to run that ball for a split second, decided to tuck it down as he saw the wide receiver breaking, to the outside of the end zone, able to lob it up over the defender, dropped it right in for the big score. And now the Olympians tacking on the extra point.
Omar Busio out of the hold of Burton. Snapback ball down. It is true. It is through. With 2:02 left to go in the first half, Leuzinger tacks on the extra points, and it's 14-0 in favor of Leuzinger over Westchester.
Just a beautiful drive by the Olympians, taking the ball almost, what was that, about 65 yards?
Yeah, it was 63 yards.
63-yard drive in a matter of a little over a minute and a half. Excellent execution by Tashawn Burton and that offense for Coach Tolliver. That's the kind of drive you like to see your team put together.
66 because they had the penalty, so you were closer.
I tell you, I get close every once in a while. But an excellent play and an excellent drive, needless to say, by the Olympians. And that's why they are indeed one of the best teams here in the South Bay. The Olympians clicking on all cylinders as Tolliver finds the wide receiver in the back of the end zone. And now Westchester really got to be reeling.
1:12. That was the time of the drive. 66 yards and 7 plays.
Just a beautiful
pass to Idris.
And I believe Tolliver 5 for 5 on the drive.
Kick goes to the 15-yard line, and it's picked up by the Comets, and nice tackling, and especially the finish by Terrell Guerrero.
And even Denzel Idris in on the tackle, another one of those captains for Coach Tolliver and the Olympians. This team is pumped up now. The defense really stepping up, ready to rise here. And let's see if they can keep the Comets from getting anything going here in a minute 55.
Cassius Pierce with the return, a nicely done return with 1:55 left to go in the first half. Westchester at their own 26-yard line.
Wondering if Coach Patterson is going to just try to get out of this first half, or if he'll try to get something going.
Leuzinger wants to get after him. Gafford throws it up, and O'Cray couldn't get under it as he was being watched by Junior Nash.
Had a receiver out there, nice throw. Receiver O'Cray unable to break to the inside in time to get his hands on that ball, but I guess I got my question answered. Coach Patterson is not going to sit on this ball. He's going to try to get something here before the first half is over.
And you love to see that.
Indeed. Needs to get something going on the confidence side. Nothing else. I would have thought maybe he would have tried to just get a first down and then take a shot, but he's going for the whole ball of wax here, and that can be a good thing or a bad thing.
Big old tight end on the left side. Of the near side is Antonio Williams, 6'1", 245 pounds. And a bad snap again, and Gafford has to get it, and he gets punished by number 42, Terrell Guerrero, and he might have run over one of his own men. Slow to get up. And that is big old number 71, Isaac McCullough. And he might have got stepped on in a place where they don't have a get well card for.
And I'm sure Coach Tolliver would love to not have to worry about this young man. He can ill afford to lose it. McCullough has been in on a number of tackles tonight, and certainly a big part of that defense for Coach Tolliver.
So a loss of 1 on the play.
Again, they cannot get that ball snapped.
And now the Olympians saying that they pounced on it, but the officials say nope. As a matter of fact, there's a flag on the play. Illegal procedure. So they're going to go back to the 15-yard line.
Westchester really shooting themselves here in the foot in this second period. Came out in the first period, looked fairly well, but they have done nothing here in this second period. 5, 6 penalties now, and I think they're shell shot from that last score.
3rd and 20, and now a timeout on the play. And Leuzinger, with the help from the Comets, are leading 14-0. But I tell you what, they earned it on that last drive after kind of sputtering after their first touchdown on their first play. Gave it up on downs, then had the ball intercepted, and then fumble recovery by the Comets, then punted the ball away. Actually, the Westchester Comets punted the ball away, and then the big 7-play drive that was capped off by the pretty 20-yard pass from Burton to Idris.
Well, Leuzinger has started the game well, and they're ending the first half well. Can't ask much better than that out of your team. Certainly, as you mentioned, a couple of spots there in the middle where they kind of sputtered, but the Comets haven't shown any tenacity as far as being able to get anything going, so it's all worked out for the Olympians.
Ike McCullough and Tao Kavenga are playing center field. And now back to throw on the short screen pass. It is complete. And Leuzinger really coming in on the defense and quelling that one as well, as the pass was complete on the far side to Dominic Starks, where some yardage was gained back, but not a whole lot.
Well, it looks like the Comets are at least trying to get something going for this offense. They really are struggling, and no doubt Coach Patterson just trying to get something that he can address at halftime with this team that looks positive that they can work on in the second half. Because really right now, they have really shown no ability to get anything going on offense.
So a 10-yard gain for Starks on the pass from Gafford. And 48 seconds left to go, another timeout. Just want to maybe they're talking about whether they should go for it. They being the Comets over there on the sideline, as we see them, as now the Olympian crowd is finally starting to wake up.
Getting a little excited here. I think they're getting ready for the band at halftime.
And the cheer goes. They're going to punt it away. Or are they? As the punter is in formation, Marshall, he punts it away. But Leuzinger also knows that they're going to get good field position out of it anyway. It's finally down.
And I don't know why the young man was in such a hurry to want to down that ball. He should have just let it sit there and roll and let the officials blow the whistle. That would have at least gotten a couple of more seconds off of the clock. But needless to say, the Olympians are going to get this ball with 37 seconds. Is Coach Tolliver a gunslinger? Let's see if he wants to try to get something here with 37 seconds remaining.
Well, you can take a gamble. Let's see, you got 37 seconds left to go in the first half. You still have an opportunity for at least 3 plays.
So let's see if Tolliver is going to mess with his average. He has been on fire this game. And matter of fact, he's 67% for the season thus far. Young man having an outstanding season. Let's see if they're going to air it out.
Well, they have 5 receivers in the pattern, 3 to the far side. Burton goes across the middle. It is almost picked off as the pass was intended for Denzel Idris. It was just behind him about a half a step.
O'Cray able to stick his hand in there to knock that ball down, but, well, I guess got my question answered again. Coach Tolliver trying to get something here early, or I should say get something before the half ends.
You got to like that, because that's something to grow on. Because that's going to say, okay, let's just keep pouring it on. We don't want to step back and give these guys a breath. We got them on the ropes. Let's keep jabbing them, keep pounding them.
And they may need this later on in the year. They may find themselves in this position, and they'll know exactly what to do. It won't be strange territory for them.
Trips to the right, another receiver. Sawyer to the near side. It's up to the left. Burton can run it if he wants to. Does. Gets out of bounds. Smart play by the senior quarterback at about the 34-yard line with 25 seconds left to go.
Smart by Tolliver. Excellent play. That's what you want to do. Get out of bounds for your team. I should say Burton. Young man, senior. You can tell the experience showed right there as he picked up all he could, then stepped out of bounds to stop the clock. Now it gives his team the opportunity for a couple of more plays here before the end of the first half.
Idris and Sawyer didn't even go into the huddle. They know what to do. Just go that way.
Run long. Go deep.
Go to Mrs. Stewart's Buick and turn in.
There you go.
That's the way we used to do it in the street.
That's it. Hang a left at the first light pole.
Davis in motion, but the pass is caught by Idris. Nice catch. It's a first down inside of Comet territory, and he gets out of bounds. 1st and 10 Leuzinger.
Another
with
smart play.
21 seconds left to go.
Nice, another smart play. This team is well coached, and you can tell Coach Tolliver's got them running on all cylinders, and they're playing up to their caliber tonight. One of the hardest things to do is to play consistently, and you can tell the momentum that they picked up last week is carrying over to this game tonight. 21 seconds remaining here. Let's see what Mr. Burton comes up with.
Fakes, throws across, it is bobbled, and finally, Jonathan Jackson couldn't hang on to it.
Looks like Jackson wanted to run before he actually had that ball. Tried to snag it with one hand. I think he thought he even had it, and when he looked back, it was still falling off of his hand. Decided to turn and get it, unable to pick it up before it hits the ground, and gonna bring up big 2nd down, 17 seconds. The good thing about passing plays on situations like this, you save your time on the incompleted pass.
That little piggy did not want to go to market.
Not at all. Let's see if he'll go back to Jackson again.
3 receivers to the far side, to the left side, throws it out on the flat to Davis, and that was put a little bit too much of a line on it. Maybe should have given it some air.
Yeah, I think he just, as you mentioned, line drive that one just a little bit too much. Had floated it out. I think he was a little concerned with the linebacker that was starting to close on Davis. Wanted to get it out there to him as quickly as he could. But again, stops the clock with 9 seconds. Looks like might have time for 1 or 2 more plays here.
That's a big 3rd down play now for Leuzinger, as it'll be Sawyer.
Leuzinger has time for about 1 more play, so let's make some noise and try to get it into
And now we have a timeout, officials timeout.
They see a minute 30 on the clock. I believe that's the discrepancy. Or is that 13
13
seconds?
seconds.
Oh,
now
13.
Jay Belshaw says, okay.
Yeah, we're good.
So we have Jonathan Jackson, Denzel Idris. And can't see who's in between them. And
Looks
we have,
like that's Jackson.
and who is next to him? Jackson split out to the
That
left.
might be Sawyer.
Bad snap, but Burton picks it up, and he's going to tuck it in and run for it, and gets down to about the 36-yard line, maybe a yard short of the 1st down marker, Renard, with 5.8 seconds left to go. And let's see what Leuzinger's going to do with it.
They're going to go for it. Burton back in the shotgun.
So a 7-yard gain. Burton's going to go for it.
Got a flag.
And he has a man open in the end zone, and so do the Comets, but the time is ended. But it's an illegal motion, and that's declined. And you can end the half or a quarter on an offensive penalty, but not on a defensive penalty.
That's right, Lou.
So the whistle sounds to end the 1st half of play. It's a good one for Leuzinger at Olympian Field as they have the lead going into the locker room 14-0. We'll be back with the very unofficial stats and the scoring rundown right after this on Channel 22 Sports. Second half just about ready to get underway here at Olympian Field. 14-0, the Olympians lead. Let's go over the very unofficial stats. First for the visiting Comets. Chris Gafford in passing, 4 out of 12 for 40 yards. O'Craig, 2 catches for 9 yards. Starks, 2 catches for 28 yards. Paul, 1 catch for 20 yards. And an interception for Chaz Glaspie on the defense. Rushing, Gafford, 4 rushes for -9 yards. Starks, 3 rushes for 32 yards. Williams, 3 rushes for 4 yards. Scott Wright, 1 rush for 2 yards. What does that say about the defense?
They're playing outstanding is what it sounds like to me.
And here's for the Olympians in passing to Sean Burton. Listen to this. 10 out of 22, 221 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Thank you very much. That's a whole season for the Old Wing T offense here.
I'm really curious as to what coach has got for him in store here the second half. He said he only wanted to have him throw a total of 20 times. He's thrown 22 here in the first half.
Poulian has caught 2 for 31 yards. Kavenga 1 for 21 and a touchdown. Idris 2 for 33 yards and a touchdown. Sawyer 4 catches, 122 yards. Simmons 1 for 7. Burton on the rushing side, 7 carries, 38 yards. Poulian 1 for 5 yards. Kavenga 2 for 10 yards. And Idris keeps the ball. Idris waiting for his blocking. Idris gets up to the 35-yard line and is thrown up to the 35-yard line. Davis 5 carries for 21 yards, and Ike McCullough 1 carry for 3 yards. So the passing attack is doing its job for the coach of the Olympians, Dion Tolliver, trying to improve on their 2-1 record. 14-0. Leuzinger gets the ball at their own 35-yard line. 11:49 left to go in the third quarter. Out of the shotgun is Davis trying to establish the running game. Gets 7 yards and gives O'Cray a facial.
I tell you, O'Cray in on the stop, but not until Davis picks up some huge yardage on that first down carry. And certainly the Olympians coming out here to start this second half looking like they ended that first half. Still just on fire. Running game looks good. Passing game outstanding in the first half. As you mentioned, outstanding numbers. A little less than 50% for the quarterback, but no doubt he still had an outstanding game.
Ball is pitched, and look out,
Fumble.
it's loose on the ground and is picked up by the Comets. I didn't know you could take it. Is it a live ball into the end zone?
And it is.
It's called a touchdown. It's called a touchdown. Chas Glaspie picks it up. I guess maybe it was called a lateral.
Yep, it was a lateral. It
in
was
the
a
end
pitch.
zone.
So the turnover there, huge, puts the Comets back into the game. My goodness.
So Chas Glaspie with a 42-yard fumble recovery for a return. And it's 14-6 right off the bat. And that's got to be a wake-up call for the Olympians, who thought they may cruise into the win column with this one, but not so fast.
And I just said they came out here in the second half looking very good, starting off with trying to establish the ground game and nice couple of runs, and here they are with the turnover. And this was not, I mean, this almost looked like the Comets. They were the ones that were having the hard time with the snap, but this was a bad pitch on the part of Deshaun.
And the two-point conversion try is smothered by the Olympians. And another bad snap.
Yeah, I don't think it was going to be a two-point conversion, but it ended up being a two-point attempt anyway. But now they've really put themselves in a position here. Well, they can still get 2 scores or 1 score and tie it up. So just down 1 score.
The silver lining to this cloud is that the Olympians get the ball back.
And I'm sure Deshaun Burton wants to rectify himself, redeem himself, and get this team started in the right direction here.
So the third quarter starts out real flat for the Olympians, as maybe Burton should have either eaten that one or ran it instead of trying to force the issue on the pitch to Davis.
Indeed, I think you're right. And it looked like Davis may have tried to pick it up instead of falling on the ball. And you try to teach young running backs, don't try to be a hero. Just save the ball. Let's keep it. And I think he wanted to try to pick that up and make something out of nothing, and ended up a big turnover.
DeAndre Steverson is the new kicker, and boy, he really puts his boot into that one.
Nice kick.
As the ball is picked up and taken to the 30-yard line, and look out. The kick returner gets up to the 45-yard line and almost broke that one, but the speed of the Comets runs down Roderick Poulian on a nice run back.
Boy, the 6 foot, 185-pound senior looked like a man on a mission as he got that ball off of the kick. Broke up through the middle, looking for some clear running room, ran and jumped over a would-be tackler, and then, as you mentioned, got all the way out to the 46-yard line to give the Olympians excellent field position to start this second drive here in the second half.
Simmons split out wide to the near side, to the right, 3 receivers. Burton rolls out this way and still going to run, puts a hand in a face and goes out of bounds. Nicely done after the first down inside of Westchester territory at the 36-yard line. And now we have a flag and maybe a personal foul on after the play is over.
Oh, this is going to make one of these coaches very unhappy.
And the way that the line judge is pointing, it could be Dion Tolliver. Line judge tonight is Isaac Gooden, and it is against the Olympians.
Oh, that's one of those things that will just make a coach lose his mind. After a huge play like that, picking up the big first down, and now we're going to bring it all back and march off. Looks like probably about 15 yards. And that's a big one. That's going to bring it back to inside the 50-yard line, back into Leuzinger territory. And I tell you, those are the kind of plays that just makes the coach lose his mind, lose his hair and everything.
Back to the 49-yard line. So after the gain of 20, a net gain for Burton of 5 yards.
Yeah.
First down for Leuzinger.
Or 3 yards there.
They're giving him a first down. I'm a little confused as to what happened.
Can't be first. Well, they can't take the down away, I guess. But Davis catches the ball, had to come back for it, and gets to right about the same place Trevon Burton was at the 35-yard line. And it's good enough for a first down.
Back to what would have been the line of scrimmage, as you mentioned, Lou. Nice catch there by Davis as he had to pick that up off of his shoestrings. Deshaun a little low on the throw, but Davis staying with him, picked it up right off of his shoestrings and was able to get down and pick up a first down to keep this drive going.
That's the 12th first down for the Olympians. They had 11 in the first half. Burton throws it across the middle. Idris is wide open at the 20-yard line.
Nice play as quarterback takes a 3-step drop, finds the receiver cutting across the middle. That slant pass, they call it a slant, sometimes they call it a post. Either one, it was most effective, and the Olympians have found a lot of success with that play tonight. That's about the third or fourth time they've hit that play. The first time, if you recall, in the first half, went for about 75 yards.
That's right, and this is the two 15-yard plays here in a row. Burton back to pass again. There's another slant caught. And no, just in and out of the hands of TD Tony Sawyer. He wanted to hear his name called on the touchdown play.
Oh, Sawyer wishes he had that back, I'm sure. No doubt the ball hit him right between the numbers. Couldn't have asked for anything better. All he had to do was catch it. Wouldn't have taken a hit. He was already stepping into the end zone. Would have been a big score for the Olympians here in this third period after turning it over.
Now to Sawyer's defense, maybe Jermaine Marshall's paw just got in there just a little bit.
I think you're right. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But I'm sure he would say, I should have had it.
Should have had it, absolutely. And we saw one of the former stars of the Leuzinger Olympians and the MVP last year, the Baby Bull, made an appearance up here at the press box, and he's down there at about the 40-yard line. This is a timing touch pass to Simmons, and it's forced out of bounds. Actually, he did catch it, but it's out of bounds. At least he caught it.
I was just about to say, Simmons must have been talked to at halftime. He brought that ball down, even though it was out of bounds, well out of bounds. He stayed with it and caught it, brought it down, and maybe that's a sign of good things to come for the young man. He struggled in that first half. Good to see him bring one down.
Davis is back in at running back for the Olympians, but Raynard Ray Westbrook, who is now the second string fullback for the El Camino Junior College or Community College team, and they are ranked, he reminded me, #1 in the country.
After a big win this past weekend over Bakersfield.
Burton throws it across, and it is caught by Idris on the far sideline at about the 15-yard line. He's tackled.
Nice pickup there by the Olympians. Looked like Idris may have gotten about 7 yards. Going to bring up a short 3 yards for another first down and to keep this drive alive. The Olympians really look good on offense. Love the young man, Deshaun Burton. He's very calm in the pocket, sits back there, finds his receiver, and he's really on target here in this second half. I believe he's got how many in a row here now, Lou?
Well, he's 3 out of 5. Burton looking at fourth down is going to go up the middle, and at the 5 is really
hit.
belted inside the 5-yard line, and they're going to turn it over on downs right there. But let's see if Burton gets up after this one. He gets up, but the Comet is down on the ground.
And it looked like Robert Douglas as well as Sylvester Bacon were in on that tackle. And I tell you, one of them really just threw their body at Tashawn Burton, stopped him from picking up any more yards, but clearly somebody's shaken up. Look like they're coming off now for the Comets.
Big old Chase Gillespie.
This young man has been all over the field tonight. We've called his name out a number of times, had the big interception in the first half, and he's going to be a tired young man at the end of this game.
He's earned it, that's for sure. He's earned a hot shower. So Westchester takes over at their 5-yard line, and Leuzinger.
No, Leuzinger still has it.
Nope. Was it? Okay, so it's first and goal. So they had to get down there. Okay, for a 5-yard gain, a 10-yard gain for Burton. Thanks for keeping me straight.
Not a problem.
Another first down. And maybe you can help me out who ran that ball.
It looked like, I believe I had Davis in there taking that ball.
So Davis, no gain.
Gonna bring up second and goal. Third and goal, I'm sorry.
Should be second and goal.
That's what I thought. Yeah, clock says second and goal. We'll call it second and goal.
Burton on the quarterback draw, cuts back in and into the end zone. Touchdown, Leuzinger. 8:40 left to go in the third quarter, and it is 20-6 in favor of the Olympians. Nice drive put on by Leuzinger.
Excellent drive after that turnover that looked like was going to be costly. Really able to put that turnover behind them and to march down the field. Excellent drive, and that's the third drive we've seen this Olympian team put together. Just looked marvelous as they went down the field. A couple of penalties along the way, but nothing that hurt them.
And a big 15-yarder as Omar puts his boot into this one. It is high, it is true, it is through. He's 3 for 3. So with 8:40 left to go in the third quarter, it's 21-6 in favor of Leuzinger. I don't know if I said 21-0, but it's 26.
21-6. You're right. You said 21-6.
Okay.
And the 6 came off of the turnover, the pickup, and run back by the defense. So the offense for the Comets have yet to put anything on the board tonight. And I tell you, Coach Patterson has got to be extremely disappointed in his first year at Westchester. But that's not to make an excuse for the team. As he mentioned, he's been there as an assistant coach for 13 years, taking it over this year for the first time. Has a lot of good potential, and I know he is in love with this team. So no doubt.
Not to love?
Not a lot. Oh, indeed, this team has got a full squad, a lot of big guys, a lot of talent. They just need to get it a little bit better worked. And I know he's tweaking with some of the things on both offense and defense, and no doubt he's going to have to continue to tweak, looks like, unless they can come up with something here in the second half.
Here comes Omar's kickoff, and boy, that's a nice one. Throws that down all the way to about the 13-yard line, where it's picked up by the Comets and Ralph Gordon, and Ralph is buried at the 26-yard line, and he gets up slowly as this special teams unit for Leuzinger, led by Jonathan Jackson and Dimitri Morrison, just go flying in and bury the Comets.
Excellent tackle there as the young man looked like he was going to be able to make it around the edge, but no, Mr. Jonathan Jackson said, not on my watch. Big stop there to keep them from getting around there to pick up a big kickoff return, but they start out in good territory, almost at the 30-yard line. I think really now the pressure is on this offense from Westchester. As I mentioned, they have yet to get anything going, and I'm sure Coach Patterson has got to be very concerned because they've got a tough schedule to face them after tonight.
Gafford has 2 receivers to the near side, tosses a screen pass where it is complete to Scott Wright. Scott Wright And check that, not Scott Wright, that was Dominique Starks. And he gets it to the 37-yard line. So a big 9-yard gain for the Comets.
Well, they needed that, because that offense has really been sputtering. Let's see if they can keep it going here, because I tell you, that Leuzinger defense is getting some kind of workout. Or I should say the offense is getting a workout.
The speed of the Leuzinger defense has just been too much so far. Let's see if they can keep their head into the ball game tonight. There comes the blitz, picked up by the running back, and the tight end catches the pass. Leota running him down, trying to catch the rumbling, stumbling Antonio Williams, but not after he gets deep into Leuzinger territory for the biggest play of the night.
And you know, it was all set up by that blitz. The defense from Leuzinger rushing the quarterback. The blitz got picked up by the running back. He was able to get the ball out to Antonio Williams, the tight end, who, as you mentioned, broke it out and was able to get the ball deep into Leuzinger territory just outside the 30. We'll call it the 31. Big first down, and that might be, is that the first down they've had here in the second half?
In the second half it is, yes. They only had 3 first downs in the first half, believe it or not.
We've got an injured player, and that's why the timeout or the stoppage on the field right now. Don't know if that's Antonio Williams or who over there on the sideline.
It is Antonio Williams, and he was running hard, and he was caught up and tackled by John Leota. But big Antonio Williams, 6'1", 245 pounds, was running out of gas when Leota came up from behind, the 6 foot, 205 pound senior who can really lay a lick on you.
Williams seems to be moving over there. Looks like they're trying to get him up now.
He might have just ran out of gas.
Let's hope that's what it is, but they've got the EMT paramedic over there looking at him, and I'm wondering if maybe his leg, well, it looks like a leg or an ankle injury.
On a night like this, it is so warm. It's still, what, in the upper 70s, I would say here. At about 10 minutes to 9 on a beautiful October 1st. And a little cramping and a little heavy breathing probably wouldn't be out of the question here.
Well, let's hope that's all it was.
Gafford hands the ball off. It's taken by Starks. Starks is upended. Nicely done by Leuzinger and Christopher Bonds.
And Kavinga in on to get a piece of that tackle as well. This Leuzinger defense, not big, but got a lot of speed. And I tell you, they are not letting this offense get to the edges. And clearly, Coach Patterson in the comments have not really worked the middle of the field trying to, I would have thought they would have been using those big horses and running behind them, but they've tried to match Leuzinger's speed tonight. And Leuzinger has met that speed with speed.
Williams and Scott Wright bookend Gafford in the backfield. And that's going to be a false start on Williams, as he looked like, tried to fake it like he was going to go in motion when he came out of his stance, but didn't fool the officials.
Not one bit. Going to bring this back. And this is going to create, I'm sure, some problems, as they may not be able to go to that play, because now they're going to back them up. Are they going to accept it? I believe they are. That's going to make it second and probably about 13 now.
As soon as they mark it off, we'll find out. Illegal motion back to the 34-yard line.
Westchester just continues to shoot themselves here in the foot here in this second period.
Williams to the right, Scott Wright to the left of Gafford. 2 receivers in the pattern on the left side. Throws it out on the flat, picked up by Williams.
Nice.
Actually Scott Wright makes a long gain for a first down, picks up the 13 and then some. Inside the 21 and inside the 20-yard line to about the 19.
Just what the doctor ordered for Coach Patterson in the comments. Looked like that drive might have been stalled, but able to break out of there and get a big first down to keep the drive alive. And a big drive here for the Comets. They really need to get something going if they want to stay in this game.
6:05 left to go in the third quarter as Gafford all of a sudden is 3 out of 3 in the second half. O'Cray trying to get signals straight on the left side of Gafford. And another bad snap, and Gafford has to pounce on it before McCullough got in there, and also Ivan McLennan for Leuzinger. It's good to see Isaac McCullough back in the lineup after getting injured in the first half.
Indeed, it's good to see the young man back. Huge player for the Comets, I should say for the Olympians. I just can't get it out of my mind all the difficulties that this Comet team is having with the quarterback and the center exchange. Clearly something that Coach Patterson has got to work on at practice. Don't know if it's a new center or their first time working together or what, but they've put over half a dozen balls on the ground tonight.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Time is called.
I was just going to say this exchange has not been working, and clearly something that they have got to get together on.
Center is, I believe it's Jericho Bueno is listed, but I believe that's Marcus Johnson who is over the ball. And Marcus is 6'1", 330 pounds. Also listed as a center is Jaron Adams, a 6', 255-pound senior. So we'll keep an eye and see who is snapping the ball here for Westchester Comets. But when I saw this matchup at the beginning of the season, when our Channel 22 sports schedule came out, I thought, wow, this is going to be a good game. And everyone else did too. And I'm glad that we stuck with it, even though it was moved a day back, and it kind of caught us flat-footed. We have our warrior Jeff is a cameraman producer tonight.
Indeed, he's got the whole workload on him himself. He's doing an excellent job operating our single camera tonight, just so that we can bring it to all of the good people here in our Channel 22 coverage area.
That's right. As we debated it with Tom Strickfaden, and finally it was the words of that young philosopher Russell Westbrook. One camera's better than none. We want to see it on TV.
There you go.
Pass inside the 10-yard line. Is that caught? Yes, it is. What a terrific catch by O'Cray. And you don't want him to go in because now it's 1st and goal at the 1-yard line.
Where has he been all night? He's dropped so many passes, and now for him to extend himself across the middle and snatch that ball out of the air and bring it down for a near touchdown. It's going to be at about the 2-yard line. They're marking that. Excellent catch by O'Cray, and something I'm sure his quarterback and coach have been looking for all night long.
4:40 left to go in the third quarter. 21-6, Leuzinger leads. 1st and goal from the 1-yard line.
I can't harp on how big this drive is for the Comets if they plan to stay in this game.
Gafford under center now with a full house backfield and another bad snap. And let's see who comes up with the ball.
Oh, my. Luckily, they get back on top of that, Lou, but that could have been disastrous.
Yeah, that is Marcus Johnson at center, and he is not listed as a center. So we'll have to, so that's going to be 2nd and goal from the 1-yard line. And don't know if, in fact, Marcus is taking over for the man listed as center, Jericho Bueno, who is more built like a center at 5'11".
Well, clearly he is either inexperienced or quite unhappy at getting that assignment tonight. I don't know which one it is.
Inexperienced and unhappy.
No, I'm sure after this.
Out of the shotgun, Gafford finds a gap and runs into the end zone for a touchdown, even though he did a little burnout with his shoes there as well at midfield, at the middle of the field. And 3:35 left to go. It is now a 21-12 ball game. And you can bet that Coach Patterson is going to tell his team, we're going to go for 2.
Yeah, trailing by that amount, they need to get a 2-point here to try to get it back within 1 score. And clearly, they finally ran the play that I've been looking for all night, right up the middle behind those big guys. And that almost looked like it wasn't designed, but he just took off with it after you mentioned it. Kind of slipped in the backfield, took off. Let's see what they do with here to try to get these two.
Yeah, there was a nice hole over right tackle as Gafford is going to throw it. Here comes the blitz into the back of the end zone, and nope.
I think they might need to stick to that ground.
Christopher Bonds was looking for something to chew on.
And had he been able to bring that ball in, he could have run that back for a score, you know. And clearly that was on his mind. I think he may have been trying to run with that before he actually had it. But the Comets now trying to get back in it, but that two-point failed conversion attempt has really put them in a vicarious position now. They're going to have to score twice to try to get back into the game.
8 plays, 71 yards, and about 5 minutes taken off the clock.
I'm sure Coach Patterson quite happy, though, his team able to get into the end zone here. Still have a shot at the game. It's not over. We're still early. I should say over halfway in the third period, but we've got the entire fourth quarter. So a lot of football still to play. Let's see which team cuts down on the turnovers here now.
And the kick is made, and got a new kicker out there, and that sends Idris back to about the 5-yard line. Idris getting up to about the 20, waiting for his blocking to develop, and does. Breaks free, spins out of another tackle at the 40-yard line, and past the 45-yard line, and this will not come down until he is finally knocked off his feet at the 47-yard line for a big 42-yard run.
Excellent run by Idris as he waited on his blockers, came back across, went down the middle there, and looked like he was going down right at about the 40-yard line, but as you mentioned, just refused to go down, drug some of those Comets out over the 45, not until they were able to bring him down at about the 48-yard line. Big
remember, Pullian had a big 35-yard kickoff return.
So the special teams have really looked good tonight.
Burton throws it, and Simmons says, I'm going to catch this one. Look at me.
Went down on that. I like that. Like the way he went down on that and set himself to catch that ball. Made sure he had that one. And I'm sure that's one of the things Coach talked to him about at halftime.
Inside of Westchester territory at the 48-yard line.
That was a nice first down pickup. And I really like the way the Olympians are spreading this ball around. They're not running it a great deal up the middle. They've got this outstanding speed and an excellent quarterback who's got a beautiful arm, and he's really working that Comet defense and keeping them on the field.
Pullian and Ike McCullough on this near side. Pullian in motion.
Kavinga,
the fullback, trying to bull his way across the line, trying to establish that run, but nothing doing with help from Darren Armstrong of the Comets to make the tackle from his linebacker position.
I'm sure Coach Tolliver thought maybe all of this passing that he did in the first half would soften some of that interior defense, and thought maybe take a little time off the clock here and maybe try to put together a nice long drive. But that defense from the Comets stood up right there and said, nope, not right now. You're going to have to catch us a little later.
Simmons on the near side, Pullian, Idris, and Sawyer on the right side. The far side, Burton rolls that way, looks. Now he's going to take off. And we're going to have a holding call. It's going to bring it back. And Idris is finally taken down inside of Westchester territory at the 42-yard line. But I do believe there was a takedown by the right tackle.
Looked like it might be holding. Looks like they're going to bring it back, and indeed it is holding, as the white hat official indicates it for us. Got an Olympian down. Looks like he's just tying his shoe, but I tell you, it looked like Tashawn Burton thought he may have gotten a face mask call. He was asking the officials to help him out, but the official said no, he didn't get his hand in there.
So the hold was from about the 48-yard line, and that takes it back to the 42-yard line.
And back into Olympian territory. Want to bring up huge territory now. Big third down and a long.
So it'll be third down.
Looks like
and
about
a lot.
16. Yeah, a lot.
About 17, we'll call it. 16, 17. Two wide receivers either side for Burton, who is the lone man in the backfield. Fakes, throws long over the middle to Sue Davis. Davis bangs his way down to the 25-yard line. Pretty pass as Burton splits the defenders in the zone defense for a big first down for Leuzinger.
Excellent throw and catch. Tell you, the Olympian, I should say the Comet, Robert Douglas, who was playing safety out there, came up to intercept the ball, mistimed it, and the ball drops right into the hands of the wide receiver Sawyer, and he only had one man to beat. Looked like he was going to get away, but not in time.
Burton throws the ball and tried to get it to Simmons, but that didn't go anywhere.
Simmons said, you got to bring that down a little bit. Got a flag on the field. Let's see what this is. This is going to be a big call here. And it's going to go against the Olympians. I think we're having an eligible receiver downfield. And Coach Tolliver and our official down there discussing it. And Coach Tolliver doesn't seem to be accepting it. The official says, it's going to go my way. I'll have the last word, of course.
Absolutely.
So personal foul. But they indicated it was a illegal man downfield.
Okay.
So that's going to back them up and still first down.
First down and 15 from the 30-yard line.
Third down and 15.
Burton back to pass, throws it, and it is picked off. This time it was behind Sawyer and down at the 15-yard line, and the Comets will take over there as that's O'Cray.
O'Cray catching the ball here in the second half on offense and defense. Comes down with a big interception to thwart the drive here by the Olympians. And this could have been the drive that, if you will, as they say, could have let the fat lady sing had they scored on this drive, I believe. But the Comets now with an excellent opportunity to really get back into this, Lou. Let's see if they can muster something up here on offense.
That's right. They can get within striking distance at least. Get within 1 point with a 2-point conversion. Two receivers to the near side for Gafford. As the ball is handed off to Starks. Starks gets tackled from behind by McCullough. But not after a gain of over 5 yards.
There's that young man again, number 71, Isaac McCullough, in on the big stop. Just a sophomore, Lou. He's 5'8", 265 pounds, and he has been really working hard tonight for the Olympians and Coach Tolliver.
So a 4-yard gain for Starks. So it'll be second down and 6, a long 6. 13 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Two receivers to the near side out of the shotgun. Scott Wright in the backfield, a throw across, and falling down was Tao Kavenga, or he could have intercepted the ball.
Looks like that pass may have been intended for Ralph Gordon, one of the junior wide receivers, unable to catch up with that, and the ball falls harmlessly to the ground. It's going to bring up a big down here for the Comets, trying to keep this drive alive.
Four-man front.
The Olympians looking a little exhausted out there on defense now, struggling at front four, spending a lot of time here now.
Johnny Leota looking like he's going to blitz, so do all the linebackers, as the blitz comes in and really takes care of the running attack as the handoff is made, but a loss on the play as they unpile it. Williams carried the ball, but not after he lost back to the 15-yard line.
Excellent call by Coach Tolliver to send his defense and send them all-out blitz. And you can tell that really caught the Comets off guard, as now they'll be forced to punt it back here as we end the third period.
We'll be back for that punt right after this on Channel 22 Sports. Fourth quarter just about ready to get underway as Leuzinger defense, Reynard Ricks, apparently has held the Comets after the loss on the blitz as McCullough catching Williams in the backfield.
And I
John,
really thought the Comets may have turned the corner, but that offense still sputtering and unable to get anything going, and going to have to force to give the ball back to this high-powered Olympian offense.
Sawyer catches it over his shoulder at the 47-yard line, picking his way through, breaks out of a tackle, and is finally caught at the 35-yard line and falls forward to about the 32-yard line. So great field position for the Olympians as they start off the fourth quarter with 11:46 left to go in the ball game.
Tell you, every time that young man Sawyer touches the ball, he looks like he's ready to carry it the distance. Young man, excellent speed, outstanding skills, as you can see the moves and everything as he portrays. And that time just unable to get away is number 25, Anthony Trahan, one of the linebackers, a senior of the Comets, able to drag him down to keep him from getting to the end zone.
So about a 20-yard return for TD Sawyer. Two receivers to the near side. Jonathan Jackson and Davis. Three to the left of Tashawn Burton. As they're going to run and gun again on this West Coast offense. Davis leaves early, but Burton gets it, and it definitely was a quarterback draw with all the blocking schemes. Great blocking downfield by the Olympians as Burton gets knocked out of bounds at the 14-yard line. First down, Leuzinger.
Nice keep on the part of the quarterback, Burton. I don't know if he saw something in that Westchester defense, decided to just take off with it or what, but found a gaping hole over the right side of that defense and able to pick up a big first down. And I tell you, the Olympians knocking on the door again here.
Burton has the ball off to Davis and up the middle, and now maybe it's going to be the Westchester Comets that are going to be breathing a little hard, because that was a nice push by Leuzinger to get Davis inside the 10-yard line.
And we are starting to see some fatigue setting in on both defensive teams, but this Comet team is really starting to suck wind. Looks like down there on the defense, you see many of the defenders starting to help their teammates up off of the ground, and the Olympians aren't helping them with this hurry-up offense.
Pitch to Davis, and Davis gets closer to the 5-yard line, but a good pursuit by the defense of the Comets as Darren Armstrong and Xavier Craig corral Davis after a 3-yard gain.
I like the way Coach Tolliver is keeping the pressure on this defense from Westchester, not giving him team a chance to really sub any guys in, going with the no-huddle offense.
Three receivers to the right, one to the left, one to the right, as now the handoff on the delay goes nowhere but backwards. And Jaron Adams, the 6', 255-pound senior, says, "Here, run into me and I'll throw you down." And that's exactly what he did for no gain. It'll be fourth down and 2 yards to go.
The Comets defense stood up that time for Coach Patterson, and no doubt they're going to need to do that one more time here.
Yeah, they're going to go for it. Have to get to the 4-yard line with 10 minutes left to go in the ball game and a 9-point lead. Davis, the lone back in with Burton, and he wants to call a timeout.
Coach Tolliver didn't like what he saw then and got the word to his quarterback Burton to shut it down. Let's talk about it, set something up so we can all get on the page here. No doubt this is a huge drive. Score right here, and I'm pretty sure Coach Tolliver feels comfortable that they can get away with a win tonight. And maybe we'll see some of his younger players get a chance to play.
They also have a new field goal kicker in Omar Busio, who's 0 for 1 in field goal attempts, and he's 3 for 3 in PATs. And let's see, at the 6-yard line, go back about 7, 23, about a 23, 24-yard field goal. And that would be a nice test for him, too,
Yeah,
as we see Omar warming up.
A little surprised he's not giving him a shot at that, knowing that may need him later on in the season in a case like this.
That'd be a nice cushion, too.
Are you wearing class today?
Jackson. Split out to the right. Idris and Pullian and Sawyer out to the left. Idris follows Burton to the 4 to the end zone. He knocks over the cone, but gets to the goal line, and it should be 1st and goal for the Olympians.
We got a flag on the play here. I believe they're going to bring it back. I think I may have seen some holding on that right side. The comments are clapping as though it's going to go against the Olympians. So if that's the case, we're going to back it up 5 yards. It is holding, and that is going to hurt. Now that may change Coach Tolliver's mind, and they may decide to kick it now.
Okay, a holding call at about the 5-yard line. That'll bring it back to the 20. That would be a pretty long field goal for Mr. Boris, or is it a 10-yard penalty?
He's walking him out. Here he comes. So I guess the last one was too close for him, so he's going to bring him out now and give him something really work for.
So it goes to the 15-yard line, so it's 4th down.
Now he was at about this spot the last time when he shanked the one left. Let's see if he's got it worked out. He seems to be trying to avoid that soft spot in the middle of the field.
32-yard field goal attempt is high, and this is going to go wide left, or is it?
Good.
It is good. Omar Busio gives the Olympians a 24-12 lead with a nice field goal as the Comet was coming in to try to swoop the ball away. What a nice job by Omar.
You just love to see that by the young man. No doubt that's a big confidence builder for him and this entire Olympian team. It gives them confidence that they can go anywhere now. They've got a young man who can come in and knock it down from 30, 40 yards out.
That's a 6-play drive, and that is a big confidence booster, and I'm glad that they did that because now there's another weapon for the Olympians.
And they are loaded already, so now the special teams playing as they are, I tell you, the runners on the special team, the defenders on the special team, and now the kicking and the punting all coming together to go along with that high-powered offense of Coach Tolliver. He's got to be excited about this season.
2 minutes and 7 seconds, Renard. A 6-play, 69-yard drive, capped off by the 32-yard field goal by Omar Busio, who puts his boot into this one. And the kick goes into the arms of Darrell Armstrong. Armstrong is hit and buried at the 25-yard line. Boy, the special teams is doing terrific. The defense, the offense, wow.
Everybody.
They are clicking on all cylinders this early in the season. But you know what? The selling point for me on the Olympians is at the stretch part of the season, can they finish off the good teams in the Bay League? That's going to be the answer here. But this Westchester team is no slouch. And what a big, big test for the Olympians tonight with 9:20 left to go and a 12-point lead.
I have no doubt the coaches here in the South Bay are going to open up the paper in the morning, see this score, and are going to say, my goodness, what's up going on up there in Leuzinger? And they're going to know that they have their hands full here with this team if they're coming to their house to play.
Gafford almost has the ball picked off by Johnny Leota as the pass was intended for Dante Paul.
Oh, I'm sure John Leota would love to have that back again. Not a lot of opportunities for the young man to touch the ball, and when you get those kind, you really want to make and take advantage of that opportunity.
So it'll be 2nd down and 10 from the 24-yard line as Gafford again had to pick up the ball from the turf on the bad snap.
I tell you, if I were Coach Patterson, this team, we'd be out on the field tomorrow practicing that snap if it was none but the coach, or the quarterback, and the center.
Unfortunately for the Comets, there is an extra day of practice tomorrow.
Unfortunately. And you can believe if I were the coach, we'd be out there early and often.
That's right. And in our day, it would have been with no water and take a salt pill.
Yep. They'd call your mother and tell us that don't look for him no time soon.
He's going to be home after dark.
Yeah, we got lots of work.
Gafford gets a nice snap this time, and the pass is complete. Good stop as Scott Wright coughs up the football. Goes out of bounds. As pouncing on it was Kavenga, but I believe the ball did go out of bounds. But again, terrific defense shown by the swarming Olympians on that one. as Scott Wright is lucky that the Comets still have the ball.
Swarming is the word for that tackle. And indeed, you had half of the defense over on that tackle, and you could tell the impact knocked the ball loose. The Olympians almost got their hands on it, but it fell out of bounds, and they weren't able to get it.
So a 4-yard pass play on the screen pass and the swing pass, and it's going to be 3rd down and a long 6 for Chris Gafford and the Comets. Good defense is there right on top, showing blitz again. It's picked up. The swing pass is caught, but not good enough for a 1st down. Getting across the 30-yard line, they had to get to almost the 34. And another punting situation for the Comets.
Outstanding defense. I tell you, this Coach Tolliver Olympian team, I am thoroughly impressed with all phases of the game tonight. The offense has been working, the defense clicking, special teams, as you mentioned, everybody just having a big game. And why not? It's the home opener. They got a nice crowd here from the local families and friends, and indeed, they're putting on a great game.
And the Comets are going to go for it on 4th down and about 4 yards to go. Gafford airing it out, has a man open, and it is caught. And into the end zone. A touchdown for the Comets, and I think that was Jermaine Marshall for the long touchdown catch. A 71-yard, a 69-yard strike.
And you know, I believe that ball was tipped to him. It looked like it may have gone off of the defender's hand, and it looked like he even thought it was going to be knocked down, but young man, give him credit for staying with it. Ball ended up in his hands, and I'm sure he was saying, oops, look what I've got.
That was Roderick Pullian on the defense, and Robert Douglas, I should say, correcting myself, for the touchdown catch of 69 yards. Okay. So here comes the point after touchdown try. DeAndre Steverson. And there's going to be some chippiness going on right now as the score is 24-18. So that field goal looms very, very large right now, Renard.
Huge, huge. I think both teams starting to feel a little antsy here.
Offside on Leuzinger, so they're going to move it up about a yard.
Now that might, and I'm sure they'll probably go for 2 in this case now, because they really do need to get, as you mentioned, a little bit closer. So some points right here are critical if the Comets want to try to stay in this. So they are going to still kick it, looks like.
To get within 5.
And maybe they're going to fake it. Let's see.
Steverson again, but then coming across was Kavenga, who claims that one of the Comets was offside.
So maybe they'll get the 5 yards back here. Let's see. Or half the distance.
Well, no, if it goes the other way, it'll be 5 yards.
Right. We'll get that other half back.
4.5.
Mm-hmm.
We'll split the difference.
It look like the officials down there having a conference. I guess both teams trying to debate. Let's see who's going to come out of here with it. They're going to stick it on the offense.
So Jay Belshaw says it's against the Comets, so they're going to mark it back 4.5 yards, so it'll go back to about the 9-yard line. Or about the 8-yard line.
Now let's see if they're going to kick it still, because they have been struggling with their kicks tonight as well. Looks like a few players changing. I think he's going to bring his offense back out here to try to go for 2.
The ball does only go back to about the 4-yard line. And Patterson is talking to his quarterback, Chris Gafford. Gafford, a very impressive 5'9", 160. Plays a lot bigger than that.
He certainly does. He looks a lot bigger, a lot of presence in that pocket. Not been on target a great deal tonight, but he's found success when he's needed it.
So now they're going to go for 2. Under center is Gafford. Backs out of the eye, hands it off, and terrific defense as the ball was handed off to Williams, but no good And Terrell Guerrero, we've been calling his name all night, comes up huge.
Young man got into the backfield. Big play there for the Olympians as he was able to push his blocker to the side and get into the backfield to grab the runner. And he was back there just about as fast as the handoff came to him, unable to really get anything going. It might have been even for a loss.
So about a minute 40, we'll call the drive.
So a big stop, Lou. That was a huge stop.
4 plays. Actually, there were about at least 2 big defensive plays, but 1 big offensive play. The 69-yard touchdown strike from Gafford to Robert Douglas makes it 24-18 after the 2-point conversion is messed up by Terrell Guerrero. Talk about 5'9", 210 pounds. That's a brick.
Let's see if they're too early for onside kick. I think they're going to kick it away and try to play defense. Let's see what happens. No, they went to the onside kick.
And Idris, one of the good hands people, up at the 45-yard line.
Now that was a pretty poor attempt at an onside kick, but fortunate for the Olympians, it went right to one of their good hands people. They were able to secure it, and now I think Coach Tolliver would be happy with just maybe 2 or 3 first downs and might be able to get out of here with a win.
Yeah, let's see, last time they had the ball, they kept it for about almost 2.5 minutes for the field goal try. And then they've been playing a terrific game tonight. I've been impressed by the total performance of the Olympians tonight.
I agree with you. They've been outstanding.
Burton hands the ball off to Davis. Davis goes up the middle and is really crushed at about the 49-yard line. And he was met hard by number 54 on the defense, and he's one of those guys that we don't have a number for.
I think Coach Tolliver is going to try to just take some time off the clock here.
Actually, that was Chase Glaspie. And it's good to see him back in the game.
Jonathan Jackson checking in now to replace Simmons at that wide receiver position. And let's see if the Olympians are going to keep the ball on the ground or whether they'll try to go to the air here with a 2nd and 6.
Officials' timeout is the plug for the electricity to the clock.
Scoreboard
has been yanked. It's one of those technical difficulties.
And there it comes back as you see them plug it up. And be back here momentarily now.
Have to give him an old producer's tip, an old gaffer's tip here.
Didn't tape it in the socket over there.
That's it.
That's it.
Happened to an old radio engineer I used to know. UCLA was lost at USC at the sports arena one year, and somebody yanked the extension cord out of the wall at the old sports arena. Ball is handed off again to Davis, and he gets across midfield into about the 43-yard line. That should be good enough for a first down.
A big first down pickup for the Olympians, keeping the drive alive. It's just what Coach Tolliver, I'm sure, is looking for out of his offense here as they try to take the wind out of this clock. March it down, just about 7 minutes here left in the game, and you got Jackson coming off the field. Looks like he's cramping up a little bit. Some of the players starting to show some of that wear and tear from this interestingly warm night.
Certainly is. And now at the 44-yard line, it's 1st and 10, and Burton keeps the ball. Burton will go down to about the 36-yard line, so a gain of 8.
I was really impressed in the first half how the team on that last drive, they were throwing the passes and getting out of bounds to save the clock. Now on that play, Burton running to the sideline, fell down to avoid going out of bounds to keep the clock moving. Again, smart, and I think a lot of that has to be, again, attributed to the seniors on this team. A lot of these players have been in this situation from years past. They know what to do now, and you're seeing experience showing up out there on the field for the Olympians.
Wearing the Comets down. There's 5:57 left to go in the ball game. And Burton with a fake handoff, and it's caught by Idris. Idris comes back towards the middle of the field, trying to find his way upfield, and I do believe he got enough for the first down at the 31-yard line.
And more importantly, keeps that clock rolling. That's the key right now. The enemy isn't Westchester. It's that old man time on the scoreboard. And the Olympians got control of it. And I would say certainly another first down, and you can pretty much call this.
Let's see if they're content with that or if they want to try to work on their game and get another one into the end zone. The ball is handed off to Davis, but he's met by a whole lot of Comets on the defense.
And clearly Coach Tolliver is wanting to take the wind out of this clock. He just wants it to roll. He's keeping the ball in the hands of his running backs. They're keeping it in the middle of the field. And pretty obvious he's just taking the time off of this clock right now, trying to get another first down.
Marcus Johnson for Westchester, Renard, made the stop on that one, wasn't going to let Davis go anywhere. So he's taking his frustrations out for making all those bad snaps on poor old Trey Davis.
He certainly needs to.
That's 6'1", 330 going up against Davis. We don't have any numbers on him, but
he doesn't look much over. No, doesn't look much over 165, 180 pounds. That's for sure.
That's with his equipment on.
Oh, every ounce of it.
4:35 left to go in this one. 24-18. Leuzinger. Is it a comfortable lead? And let's see. Much time taken by Deshaun Burton, so they're going to move this one back. It'll be second down and 15.
Took off a little too much clock that time. Now they're going to have to start it 5 yards further.
You know, it's really tough to time these officials, because officials have different interpretations of when they start their snap clock. And you can talk to 10 different officials and you can get 10 different interpretations. I'm not saying that's good or bad, that's just the way it is.
That's one of those things that they are still trying to work out on the high school level.
Burton trying to get Simmons, but threw it behind him. That was not Jared's problem.
No, that was not Simmons' mistake there. I know he felt like, excuse me, felt like he was trying to stop for that ball. Ball well thrown behind him. Couldn't put the brakes on as that ground starting to really get beat up there in that part of the field. And again, as we've seen several of the runners and even the quarterback Burton slipping, right there, got a hold of Mr. Simmons. He was unable to get that ball and catch it for Burton.
We gave it a terrific try.
He
Simmons,
certainly did.
Idris and Julian are split wide to the near side. One receiver to the far side. Davis in with Burton, who is in trouble and gets hit and sacked at about the 35-yard line. And that'll bring up 4th and long for the Olympians.
And the comments like, my goodness, we finally stopped Burton from making a big run on us up the middle. He has been gapping and just gaping holes he's had running that quick draw, quarterback draw. And the comments stayed home that time. And now the Olympians will have to give the ball back here to the Comets with 3 minutes and 49 seconds and running.
Chas Glaspie with the tackle on that one of the middle linebacker. He's been very busy for Westchester with 3:40 left to go. And the snap goes over Omar's head, and he does the smart thing and just falls down. He didn't do the repeat of Garo Yepremian.
I was so afraid he was getting ready to try to kick that out of bounds, but young man, again, another smart play by the Olympians. I can't say enough how well I have been impressed with just the overall play of this team tonight. They have shown smarts, they've shown guts, and they've just played outstanding on both sides of the ball.
Well, now it's interesting because now Westchester has the ball inside of Leuzinger territory.
Plenty of time.
Leuzinger's 37-yard line, 36-yard line, and they're down by 6.
Oh, I would certainly hate to see the Olympians lose this game after winning it for almost 4 quarters, and to come out here on the short end with a big play here by the Comets could be really just devastating.
We'll call it the 47-yard line. Stafford, another low snap, throws it across the middle, and Leota was in a tug-of-war with that one with the intended receiver. and I believe that was Dante Paul, and it goes incomplete.
Oh my goodness, John Leota had his hands on that, just could not bring it in to secure the interception, and the Comets will get another shot at it here.
3:28 now. All of a sudden it's nervous time here at Olympian Field.
And the Comets, you can tell they're going for it.
They can smell it. It's not that far away. Gafford trying to rally his troops. He's back to pass. Looking over the right and throws the pass, and it is complete to Williams. But nope, it's incomplete, and that's a good thing because for Renard, that would have been a loss.
And that was a poor decision by Gafford. One of the few poor decisions he's made tonight. Had a couple of receivers running free down here on the left side, and he just looked like he was a little rushed. There was no real pressure coming from the Olympians. He just kind of flicked it out there and got rid of it. I think if he had hung on to it for another second or two, might have been able to complete that.
4-2 defense as the pass goes. And
interference.
Is that interference?
Yep.
The ball.
I don't know if the receiver had a shot at catching that ball. That was a very close call. The officials down there a little closer saw it a little differently apparently.
Ralph Gordon was
interfered
interfered by Junior Nash with 3:12 left in the ball game.
Huge penalty.
And that was on a 3rd and 10 play.
Oh my goodness. The Olympians shooting themselves here in the foot here in the 4th period with penalties now, and are giving the Comets a chance to get this game.
So now the ball is marked at the 23-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Comets.
And the crowd has kind of gone deaf over here on this side. They need to wake up and try to get this defense awake. See if they can get them to come up with some big stops here now. Crucial time for the Olympians.
So Gafford goes under center with 3:12 left to go. He'll hand the ball off to Williams. Williams sheds 2 tackles and then gets buried at the 25-yard line. He's going to lose some yardage, and leading the charge is Christopher Bonds.
And see, just conversely here, you would think that the Comets would be trying to get out of bounds to stop the clock, to preserve as much time to try to get a score, and they failed to do so. The clock is still rolling, and they're spending a lot of time trying to get this play into the huddle. And I hope this doesn't come back to bite them, or I should say, I'm sure the Olympians hope it does come back to bite them.
So a loss of 2 on the play. It's going to be 2nd down and 12 from the 25-yard line with 2:27 clock rolling. And Gafford goes back into the shotgun. Williams to his right, Scott Wright to the left, and now a whistle is blown. And maybe they're going to call a timeout because they were taking too much time.
Well, they took too much time to still want to take a timeout. I am really disappointed in Coach Patterson not able to get that timeout called sooner, and certainly a lot of wasted time went off of the clock. And we'll see if that's going to work in the favor of the Olympians or if it's going to work against the Comets, because clearly they need a big score here if they're going to try to do something.
Now Leuzinger putting together some good drives, 2 good drives to score a touchdown and a field goal here in the second half. Again, had opportunities, but first half opportunities have really put them in a tight spot here in the second half towards the end of the game in the 4th quarter.
Coach Tolliver walking off of the field there. It looks like he's a little concerned about his team, or I should say concerned about their inability to stop this defense, or stop this offense right now. And he knows, I'm sure, how crucial this series of downs are.
Defense is a 4-3. And they're going to go man-to-man on the wide receivers, 2 safeties in the backfield, in the defensive backfield. Out of the shotgun is Gafford, and now we're going to get a penalty flag, and is it some movement on the line with 2:17 left to go in the ball game.
The line judge talking to the head referee. That tends to mean illegal procedure every time.
So a break for the Olympians, and again, this is another one of the Achilles heels of Olympian teams in the past. Can they close out a big, close game? And even though this is a preseason game, it's a big one. This is against a playoff quality team.
A team that, as you mentioned, they've had circled on their calendar when the schedule first came out. And they know what kind of a win tonight against Westchester, what that would do for their record and do for their confidence going into the season. This is making a huge statement if they can beat an LA City team like Westchester.
Second down and about 17 yards to go for Chris Gafford and Westchester. Back to pass out of the shotgun. Has a man open, going for the end zone. Goes up, O'Cray has it. Does he have it inside the 5-yard line?
Touchdown.
It's a touchdown.
Oh my goodness. The young man O'Cray, he is not the same one we saw in the first half. Dropped a number of passes, but has come back here in the second half, has made 2 huge catches, both for touchdowns here, and has got his Comet team in the lead.
Well, and it's all tied up now
all
at 24.
Tied up. Well, right now, the most important part of the finishing of this play, they have not been able to get an extra point done right. Let's see if they can get this one through the uprights.
And this one is going to be tried by DeAndre Steverson. Steverson out of the hold of Pierce. Snap back, ball down. Kick is blocked. Kick is blocked by Leuzinger, and it stays tied at 24 with 2 minutes and 9 seconds left to go. And getting in there was Ike McCullough and Tao Kavenga.
Big Isaac McCullough getting through there. And I really have to put it on the Westchester kicker. He never really got that ball off. It looked as though the snap was a little high. The place kicker, or I should say the kick holder, didn't get it down secured, and then the kicker, unable to get it up, hit right into the hands of Mr. Isaac McCullough. And now the Olympians with an excellent opportunity, and they have no problem scoring in 2 minutes or less. They've done that a couple of times tonight. Now they find themselves in that exact position again. Let's see if they can finish this off.
So the big pass interference penalty on 3rd and 10 is cashed in by the Comets, who go 47 yards after the bad snap on the punt. All they had to do was punt it downfield, and they could have been eating more time off the clock. But now Steverson kicks it high end over end. Idris picks it up at about the 5-yard line. Idris comes back inside to the 25-yard line, and a flag comes in, and that could be an illegal block or a hold with 2 minutes left to go.
Yeah, I saw a block in the back, but they didn't throw the flag right then, and then I think I saw a hold, and I think that's what this is going to be. Yep, a holding against Leuzinger. They're going to bring it back, and that's going to give them either even more field to try to get down, or I should say more yardage to try to get in order to get down here to get within range. And it'll be interesting to see if they can get down in field goal range and whether Coach Tolliver will let his young kicker kick himself into a win.
Well, why not? If they now they have to go 90 yards. Well, at least they have to go down in towards the 15. So let's see.
Got about 80, 75 yards they need.
Right.
Let's see what the young man Tashawn Burton now is going to do here. A swing pass.
And a nice gain out to about the 20-yard line.
Looks like Simmons.
Simmons, that's good.
Nice catch
Keep him
by
in the
Simmons.
game.
Exactly. Nice little screen to Simmons off of on the left side there. Able to pick it up and come back through the middle, looking for some blockers. Unable to get enough, but able to get a big first down to keep the ball moving. And more importantly right now, they need to keep the ball moving.
1st and 10 at their own 21-yard line. Nice catch by Simmons. Burton back to pass again. Fakes right. Now goes to Davis as Simmons was buried by Glaspie.
And Glaspie, he's really been in that backfield a lot tonight. Introduced himself then to Mr. Burton and said, "Hello, sir. Hadn't seen you in a while. Just want to let you know I'm still here."
Left his calling card.
So the Olympians really facing an uphill battle now.
1:36 left to go. 3 receivers, McCullough, Idris, and Sawyer to the near side. Simmons to the left. Burton looking down the middle. Will he take off? Yes, he is. At the 35 and out of bounds after the 40-yard line. And look out, as hanging on was Darren Walton, but it's a first down at the 45-yard line with 1:28 left to go. Good decision by Burton to keep everybody flat-footed as he was telling everybody to move downfield.
We haven't called the young man Darrell Walton's name out much tonight. This sophomore has big expectations. Coach Patterson says he's one of the young men to keep our eye on tonight. He was really expecting for him to have a big game. Just a sophomore. Young man has a lot of upside on him. Matter of fact, he's one of the premier baseball players here in the South Bay, or in the city of LA, I should say.
1:28 left to go. Big 24-yard gain gives it a first down, but overthrows Davis. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
And that was caused by the pressure of Westchester then.
Glaspie.
And you know it. Burton unable to really get it down. Tried to float it out there to him, but too much pressure, not enough time, and the ball falls harmlessly to the ground.
Now the Olympians need to put a little step in their giddy up in their step. As Simmons is out along with Polian on the far side, as McCullough had to get to his right guard spot. Burton, look out, is sacked on the blitz.
Oh, they'll throw the flag. Maybe.
By Darren Armstrong.
Should have threw the flag for a late hit there, but they didn't.
Armstrong with the big sack, and that goes all the way back to the 36-yard line. A loss of 9 on the play.
Pressure coming off of the left side of that defense, and I don't think, as a matter of fact, I know Burton did not see him. He's very elusive, and I'm sure had he saw him, he would have sidestepped him, but caught him completely off guard. Apparently, he thought one of his running backs would have been there to pick up that blitzer. Unable to do so. Clock moving here. I'm really confused as to what's going on. No timeout or nothing.
That's what Denzel Idris is telling Burton and Coach Dion Tolliver.
Looks like he's just going to be happy with getting into overtime.
And now they're going to go back another 5 yards because not only was the clock running, but so was the snap clock.
Indeed.
Now it went from about 1:10 down to 40 seconds, 39.7 seconds. And now it is back to the 31-yard line. So they're going backwards.
Gonna make me eat my words here. I was telling how smart this Leuzinger team had been all night long, and now here we are with less than a minute to go, and they decide to have a brain freeze here on that play. Clearly they should have taken a timeout then.
Burton hands it off, fake handoff to Davis, going long for Idris.
Got it.
Yes! At the 20, 10, 5, touchdown Leuzinger with 30 seconds left to go. And that makes the score 30-24 on the big 69-yard strike. They're going to get a celebration call, but so what? The touchdown still counts, 30-24.
Oh my goodness. Whoa, what a shot.
As Idris had to run underneath that one. I didn't know if he was fast enough for it as he rolled into the end zone. And let's see. Did he say he got in the end zone, or are they going to mark it at the 1-yard line? Now they're going to mark it at the 1-yard line. Or let's see.
No, I saw him indicate a touchdown. I saw the white hat official indicate a touchdown.
Okay.
I think they're just marking it for the, yes, a touchdown. He does indicate touchdown.
They're still asking for the touchdown. And now the penalty. Celebration play, so that's going to be a good test now for Omar. So 30-24 on the big third down play.
Just what
it was
the doctor ordered.
3rd and 14.
I'm sure Coach Patterson in the comments have to feel like, my goodness, we were so close and yet so far away.
35-yard point after touchdown try. Snap back, ball is down, kick is up, and it is No good. Just wide to the left, but a good try. But now we may have a roughing the kicker call.
And he may get to kick this again a lot closer.
Tell you what, Omar looks like a linebacker. He just kicked like a mule. And it is against Westchester,
And
so he'll get another shot.
Indeed he will, and I'm sure he would love to have another opportunity to do this. Oh, I can only imagine how that Westchester side now feels after having been, look like, out of this game for the entire 3.5 quarters. Get back in the game with a shot to win it.
Yes.
Missed the extra point, left it with time on the clock, and now Leuzinger, one play, strikes, and now just 25 seconds away from pulling out the win.
Snap back to Sean Burton. This one's high, end over end, up, true, and through. 31-24 in favor of Leuzinger over Westchester. And oh my goodness, what a game this has been. And Sammy Williams with a perfect snap to Burton.
Well, I tell you, the Comets so close and yet so far away. The Olympians, I'm sure they had to be nervous after having carried this game for 3.5 quarters to find themselves tied up with 2 minutes left to go, or a little less than a minute, I should say, a little over a minute to go. Starting to feel like, gee, we've really blown it. And don't you know, Sean Burton drops back, throws the ball down, able to pick up Idris, and he's able to carry it into the end zone to give them the go-ahead score. My, what a play by the Olympians.
And it took 1:35 off of the clock. That's probably more important. And
every, I think, scoring drive they've had this entire game has been under 2 minutes.
Very quick strikes.
This
but
team
Omar, what about Omar? That was a 30-yard PAT.
He might need to get a game ball here just to keep him encouraged.
You know what? I might give him the he's got to be in the top 3 of the Channel 22 Sports Game Player of the Week, as he kicks this one high, end over end, down to the 15-yard line.
Got to stop him.
As Westchester's Jermaine Marshall gets it up to about the 33-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 there with just under 12 seconds left to go.
Well, I don't believe first downs are a concern for Coach Patterson now. He's got 2 plays maybe that the Comets have here, and he needs one of those to Sean Burton to who was it? Idris plays now. Let's see if he's got a nice one he can throw, but I'm sure Coach Tolliver's told his secondary, get way back, keep the ball in front of you, and make the tackle.
Westchester at their own 33-yard line. Burton, 69-yard toss to Idris, just ran underneath it. That was a thing of beauty.
Indeed it was. Let's find out how strong Gafford's arm is now.
6-play, 91-yard drive.
Beautiful.
On a big 3rd down and long play. Let's see how the defense answers. Another bad snap, and Gafford will have to try to outrun Uto Sakona, and runs out of bounds. Because Uto, he'd been hungry.
Oh, that captain has not had a chance to really put his hands around many people tonight, and he was really anxious to try to catch up there with Mr. Chris Gafford. And Gafford smartly gets out of bounds. Looks like, I thought we were at 11 seconds. Now we're up to 12. So,
well, it says 12.8 now. They probably had him put on some more time.
Okay.
So the 37-yard line. So a 4-yard gain.
I know the timekeeper's not from Westchester, so it can't be a Westchester clock.
Gafford has 3 wide receivers to his right on the far side. Looks that way, throws down the middle, and it is caught by Paul at the 40-yard line, and caught by Kavenga, or tackled by Kavenga, but it's still a big 1st down play.
And good stop there by Kavenga, because he was the last man he had to beat. Had he got by him, he might be still running. And I'm sure Coach Tolliver is telling his team, get back, guys. We've got to get back and stop.
It's a big 23-yard pitch and catch to Dante Paul, and
Timeout by
Westchester's
Westchester.
going to talk about it. With 7.4 seconds left, this could be the last play of the ball game.
I asked Coach Patterson if he had any trick plays up his sleeve tonight. He said, no, we don't have any trick plays. We're too young. We're just trying to get the basics down. Well, right about now is when I think he probably is wishing he may have had something drawn up that they practiced. And I'm sure we're about to see what that is. And it's probably going to be something along the lines of a Hail Mary. Just throw it up and hope that one of his guys comes down with it.
Gafford to O'Cray.
Hey, it's been a great combination here so far in the second half. Wouldn't surprise me a bit if he brought it down. He's caught everything thrown in his direction here in the second half.
Obviously, you have some terrific receivers over there, and Dante Paul, Antonio Williams, the big tight end. You have Cassius Pierce, Antonio O'Cray. Then you also have the running backs and Dominic Starks and Cameron Williams and Kalen Scott Wright as well. So you got your pick.
He's got plenty of options. Let's see if his O-line can give him time to find somebody that looks like they might can bring it down. This should be the play of the game.
Well, the hair's up on the back of my neck. I don't know about you. At the 39-yard line, it is 1st and 10, and this is only the 4th game of the season.
I think Coach Tolliver ought to be dropping some of those defenders back a little further. I'd make sure nothing got over my head.
2 linebackers do drop back in defensive coverage. Gafford going for it all, has a man open. It's O'Cray who falls down. Junior Nash on the coverage with 1.4 seconds left to go. O'Cray was just turned too far around, but good defensive coverage downfield as it was Sammy Williams and Stephen Amos.
I like the pressure that the Olympians brought in to make sure that Gafford didn't have all day to sit back there and look and find somebody. And clearly, the throw, a little rushed. O'Cray unable to get his body turned around to find it in time, and the ball falls harmlessly to the ground. And now the Comets really with their back against the wall. 1.4 seconds left. Should be the last play of the game.
Pierce comes out, and into the ball game is Brian Brewer, and Chris Gafford comes back in. O'Cray splits out. He is in the slot there, the nearest receiver to you on the Trips set of receivers to the right. With 1.4 seconds left, lots of Leuzinger Olympians in the backfield as Gafford is caught in the backfield by Samuel Adams, and that's going to be the cherry on top of the win. Leuzinger 31-24 over Westchester in a thriller at Olympian Field on Channel 22 Sports.
And I'm sure Coach Tolliver has got to be breathing a sigh of relief, realizing how close his team came to letting this victory slip away from him. He has got to be thoroughly excited about the progress that this team has made. I tell you, the Olympians go to 3-1. They really look like an outstanding team. Had a mental letdown there in the 4th period. Almost cost them the game, but stuck with it. Able to come up with a big play there in the 4th quarter with only a minute something left on the clock. The Olympians walk away now, go to 3-1.
That's right. The big play of the game is the 69-yard touchdown toss from to Sean Burton to Denzel Idris, and then how about that 30-yard PAT by Omar, my favorite kicker, Omar Basillo. And that's my favorite part of the game right now you're watching, is after these kids have been banging heads all night long, and they shake hands at midfield, and not one personal foul on the Olympians, which is a good sign. Also, it's a great sign is that they did not give up the game coming down the stretch.
I was really impressed.
The Leuzinger Olympians have been known to do that from time to time.
And I was just impressed with, as we mentioned, after the game got tied up, it would have been so easy for Leuzinger to say, let's just, play for overtime.
Right.
But instead, Coach Tolliver knows his team is high potent. They're a quick striking team. And sure enough, able to throw the big pass downfield to O'Cray, pulls it in, and hey, walk away with a win.
That's right. They could have folded up after the other big play. Ironically, 69 yards from Gafford to Robert Douglas to get within 24-18. And then the tying one, the Gafford 30-yard pass to O'Cray. So, yeah, they could have folded up and said, let's just go for the tie and just play for another day. But Yeah, you got to like the attitude here as the Olympian torch shines brightly tonight in Leuzinger High School.
Love the attitude, and I'm sure I want to give Coach Tolliver a lot of credit for the way his team played tonight. Indeed, the poise with which they played, and certainly, again, as we alluded to earlier, this team has got a lot of seniors on it, and it's all showed up tonight, from them going out of bounds to keep time on the clock, to staying on the playing field to keep the clock rolling at certain parts of the first half. Just an outstanding performance by all phases of this team from the Leuzinger squad. And I tell you, Coach Tolliver's got in the squad this year, and I think they've got the potential to do a lot of damage in the South Bay and in the CIF.
Absolutely. 31-24. Next up for Leuzinger is Hawthorne in the Mayor's Cup right here at Olympian Field, and we will be here as Coach Harold Hoffman looking to make his sack of trophies a little heavier.
Indeed.
Next week, and it says to be announced next week for Westchester, as they will take on Palisades the week after that, followed by Fairfax, Hamilton, Venice, and then finish off with University. And you know what? That's a good team with a lot of talent, but just that timing sync with the different center tonight really wreaked havoc, but they still ended up with 24 points, and most of that was in the second half.
I tell you, I'm surprised that Westchester was in this game, to be honest. You have to, if I were to say that they put the ball down on the ground 20 times just between the center and the quarterback, I'm pretty sure I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. A lot of miscues that could have really been devastating. They hung in there, though, and that's the thing that I think probably Coach Patterson can take away. This team hung in there because Leuzinger was moving the ball up and down the field at will. They were scoring practically at will, as we mentioned. 3 of the drives were, less than 2-minute drives.
That's right.
Maybe all 4 of them, as a matter of fact. And the Comets never gave up, and then found themselves deep in the fourth quarter with a tied ball game. And then just one big play cost them the game.
It sure did. 31-24 victory for Leuzinger. Well, it's time, Renard, to pick our Channel 22 Sports Player of the Game. Well, you have Tashawn Burton, who did everything. You have Joel Guerrero, who did a terrific job. You have Denzel Idris, who caught the winning pass. And also Mr. Sawyer, Tony Sawyer, who really did a terrific job catching some passes. And also, who else was there? It was John Leota also did a terrific job tonight.
Then you had Isaac McCullough, who we called his name out all night on defense. Just an overall outstanding effort by everybody on the team. And
Trey Davis, running back.
So who's your player?
Omar Basaro.
I like the kicker as well. He stepped up, young man.
Sorry, Busio.
Busio, that's right. As a matter of fact, we were asking
Here's
the
our
coach's
player of the
name,
game is
and the
Busio.
coach didn't know his name. He said it's Omar.
He said Omar something or other.
Somebody. Indeed, Omar stepped up tonight. Huge impact on the game. And, you know, I really want to take my hat off as well to Tashawn Burton. The young man came in tonight with a 67% throwing season going for him, and not maybe up to his standards tonight, but had some excellent throws. His wide receiver stayed with him, pulled down some big balls, and more importantly, the poise that he showed in the pocket. And certainly a number of times where he just kept the ball, quarterback draw, and picked up huge yardage for the Olympians to keep some drives alive. Outstanding performance, and I think this young man has a huge upside to him, and no doubt some of the D1 coaches around the city are going to be looking at him for next year.
Hey, why not? He's a senior, 6'4", 185-pounder, and came in with 519 yards, and in the first half tacked up 221 yards. He had well over 100 yards, close to another 175 yards in the second half, and another touchdown and another interception. So a three touchdown night. Close to 350 yards, and tell you what, he's going to be a good one somewhere, but right now let's enjoy him on Thursdays and Friday nights. And also we're going to enjoy Omar Busio kicking those long extra points and field goals, and that is something that, like you say, the Bay League is going to have to look out for.
And I tell you, a good kicker at the high school level is a premier.
Last year they had, last couple of years they had a good one who was a soccer player, actually an international star, and went on to an international team. He's probably making money somewhere in Europe right now.
And I didn't get that autograph last year.
Yeah, that's right. You could have put it on eBay or something. All right, pal, what do you say we put a ribbon on this one and put it in the bank?
Well, I tell you, outstanding game again by both teams tonight. The Olympians just a little bit better. I think certainly the Comets have a lot to work on, but I'm sure Coach Patterson feels good about his team. They go to 2-2 now, tough test next week, or it looks like they may have a bye week, and then they get into the league play. But the Olympians running on all cylinders tonight look like an outstanding team and certainly a force to be reckoned with here in the South Bay. And I tell you, Coach Tolliver has this team working. Let's hope they can keep up this for the rest of the season.
And you know what? This is the fourth game that has not been an easy game. If you look at the schedule there, they started off with a 21-20 loss to Hamilton, and then Santa Monica, a big win, 33-19, and then another close win against Banning, 19-13. And then tonight they finish off a very, very good Westchester team.
Yeah, Coach said that if he had Mr. Busio back on the 4th of September when they played Hamilton, he might have come out with a win that night as well. And this team is very well could be 4-0 going into league play.
Well, coming up next, it'll be the Mayor's Cup here on Channel 22 Sports, and we'll see you around for that.
And that's going to be a game that these kids all know each other.
That's
so it's
right.
going to be a lot of pride on the line for that game.
That's right, and it's going to be right here at Olympian Field, and we'll see you for that one.
Well, Luke, thank you for letting me join you.
You kidding me?
It's a pleasure
as
always.
Always a pleasure to have you, Renard Ricks.
Outstanding game.
And also Jeffrey, our warrior cameraman and producer tonight, because Tom Strickfadden didn't want to stick around, did he? All we had was hot dogs, so he just left.
Had a hot date, I heard.
With his wife, of course.
Of course.
All right, for Jeffrey, the warrior camera person, and Renard Ricks, I'm Lou Stowers, telling you once again the final score from Olympian Field. Leuzinger over Westchester, and the final score once again 31-24. Until next time, so long.